Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
At the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land, our government was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. Now, this is what we are faced with, and this is the reality. Now, when we come to Washington in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
I remember when the ATL wasn't banging, now they banging. Niggas throwing sets and them bullets start ringing, bitches banging. I remember when the ATL wasn't banging, now they banging. Niggas throwing sets and them bullets start ringing like bang, 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 bitch, nigga, bang, 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 bang.
Yeah, about to have me some Dr. What the f... What the heck? What the heck? I had my mouth... What the f...
He's sleeping now. Because they want to get him good and strong. So a little before debate time, he gets a shot in the ass.
First things first, in this lame duck session.
My administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country. America's so true. Didn't expect that reaction, but that's okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're trying your best, but it never feels like enough.
I started having second thoughts almost the moment I sat down on the plane.
Lights off! Off! Turn them off. They're too bright. Turn them off. Turn them off. Let's go. Ready? Turn.
We go back a long way. She was 12, I was 30, but anyway.
So I changed my return flight and flew back on the first available flight I could take.
I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
I'm sick and tired of ordinary people being fleeced.
I'm tired of being quiet.
I'm sick and tired. I'm just sick and tired.
We have this notion that somehow if you're poor, you cannot do it. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Today, we're going to do a duck burger. Quack, quack, quack. It's going to be delicious!
Bless, Leif, Clems. Big cat in the building with the tape fist tight. Ricardo on the mic, yeah, he's spitting that fight. Mike is right with the vision so clear. Political prophet dropping truth in your ear. Progressive moves, but we keeping it raw. Individual minds breaking every damn law. Social conservatism got the crowd in a trance. Tape fist politics, we advance in the stands. Put your tape fist in the air, let it rise. Feel the power of the truth in your eyes. From the left to the right, we unite. Take this politics gonna shine so bright. MD20 in the cut with the plan, building up the movement with a taped up hand. Progressive dreams in a conservative frame. Individual voices calling out every name. Progressive moves, but we keeping it raw. Individual minds breaking every damn law. Social conservatism got the crowd in a trance. Take fist politics, we advance in the stance. Once you take fist in the air, let it rise. Feel the power of the truth in your eyes. From the left to the right, we unite. Take fist politics, gonna shine so bright.
New golden age. New golden age. A new golden age. A new golden age.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
The following announcements have been paid for by Take Fist Politics.
Peace, peace, peace. What's going on? What's happening? Hey, Take Fist Politics, we back. We back with episode 9. It's like I can't never get y'all niggas together. I don't know where Venkat at. I'm assuming that he gonna be in here pretty shortly. But for the time being, we got Ricardo in the house. What's up?
What's going on, MD? Yeah, man.
I can't call it. Go ahead.
I don't know. Like once you guys, I guess the scheduling, it was a whole hot mess for the past 2 weeks. So we couldn't be one will be on here, the other one wouldn't. Then it's like all over the place. So hopefully the Wednesday schedule will work for everybody.
Yeah. I think the Wednesday schedule is a lot easier. Like I said, for me, I get settled a lot faster, a lot earlier, so it work out. I know Venkat said it's better for him too. But I don't know where he at, but he said it was better. But like I said, Venkat will show up. It's all good. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Shout out to everybody that's gonna watch later. My usuals, Twin, Matt. I know Jesse gonna be in the house shortly. Jesse was doing the show. Jesse was doing an excellent show earlier. Everybody go subscribe to Frontline Black News. He was doing the show, and I'm gonna be talking about this next week. But Jesse was doing the show about the UN resolution, the slavery resolution. So he was doing the show about that. I was supposed to go up on his panel, but I was getting situated and getting ready for my show. But we will be discussing that next week. It won't be the main topic, but we sure as shit gonna discuss it because I think it need to be discussed. It was some things in that resolution I agree with wholeheartedly. It was some things, the way it was worded. I think it put too much onus on one thing and not the other. But like I said, we'll talk about that on another date. Venkat, what's up, man? Early bird don't get the worm for you. I thought we was doing good by changing it up, and here you come in like a nigga late.
What's going on, MD? What's going on, Ricardo? I'm here.
That's good, Captain V.
Yeah, I just got news that in my job they're gonna be having ice out there. And my schedule gonna be changed.
Don't worry, Venkat. I'm in the same boat with you too. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, y'all two work at the airport. I need first-hand footage for Take Fist Politics of ice and whatever going on in y'all neck of the woods in the terminals and the concourse. I need some first-hand footage so I can post it up on TFP so we can find out what's going on. Don't get arrested or shot. That's all I'm asking.
I haven't seen none yet, but I'll be sure to capture whatever I can see because they're there. I mean, they obviously been summoned by Captain Blob Orange, so we'll see what happened.
not to put your business out there, Ricardo. Not to put your business out. You at the Fort Lauderdale airport, correct?
I sure am.
Okay, all right. And we know what Venkat at. He in Trump land. So, like I said, y'all are my on the ground reporters to find out what's going on. with ICE. You know, I'm not able to make it to the Atlanta airport, but I seen the footage, and we're gonna talk about that tonight. Them kicking back, relaxing, eating Auntie Annie's and drinking coffee all goddamn day long sitting on the wall. I don't know what the hell they doing, to be honest with you, but look like they're just chilling to me. But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. So let's get into our leading story first. And the way I got this formatted, so let me say this, and this specifically to VanCat. VanCat put me on to a lot of how the production work and what not to do on StreamYard. I'm not doing that. I don't think it does it any justice to have a lower quality video when you done took so much time to make a video. Fuck that. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it, and you shouldn't be able to. StreamYard, I'll say this, StreamYard over the past few months, they done did an excellent job adding stuff to the service. Yeah. I'll say that. No, it seemed like every other week is some type of new feature. So I give them kudos for that. But the fact that you gotta lower your resolution and do all this, that, and the third, change your pixel. Nah, I'm not doing that, bro. If I make a video and it's to a higher standard than what StreamYard is, I just gotta present it. I'm not putting it in the assets if it won't go. Bump that. Right. Bump that. I just wanted to put that out there. Hopefully StreamYard hear it. Hell, they should hear it because they paying. I got to pay a premium price, so they should take my feedback into consideration. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So with that being said, again, TFP back episode 9, Saving the Save Act. Hey, let's get right into it. Let's get into our leading story.
Right now on Capitol Hill, lawmakers are debating the SAVE Act. Looking live here, Republicans are pushing for the Voter ID Act that would lead to a large share of new voters being required to show proof of citizenship like a passport or birth certificate when registering to vote. News Nation's Hannah Brandt is live for us in our nation's capital with the very latest. And Hannah, what more can you tell us? What's happening right now?
Well, Anna, it's pretty rare for lawmakers to be here in Washington over the weekend, but they're here, as you said, debating the SAVE Act. This is all part of the Republican push to advance a bill that President Trump has called his top priority. Now, today, just a short while ago, senators voted down an amendment to try and add a provision to that bill on transgender people to ban people born male from playing in women's sports and to ban transgender surgeries on minors. But debate on this bill is expected to be about way more than just those amendments, and it will last potentially several more days. Remember, this legislation, the crux of it really would be about requiring people to show proof of citizenship to register to vote. Things like you said, like a passport or a birth certificate, some of which many people don't have access to. And then it would require people to show their IDs to cast their ballots. And fighting over the legislation has been pretty fierce. Republicans say this is common sense. This is a must to secure elections and to keep people who aren't citizens from voting. But Democrats argue it's already illegal for non-citizens to vote, and they say this measure would really only suppress legitimate voting. Take a listen to either side.
It should not be controversial. It is already federal law that requires only citizens vote in the United States. We trust that they sign up as only citizens, but we're not verifying, except in a few states. This is not complicated. This is simple and straightforward. It's not even controversial, except in Washington, D.C.
It is designed to make it harder for citizens to vote. Do not listen to the Republican talking points about voter ID. That's a ruse. Underneath the surface, the SAVE Act is a voter purge bill.
Part of the reason we're seeing such an intense focus on this in this weekend session is because President Trump has been demanding that the Senate pass this SAVE Act. He said in a post on his Truth Social on Friday, there is nothing that is more important for the USA. But at this point, the legislation just does not seem to have the votes to pass in the Senate because it doesn't have enough Democratic support to do so. We are expecting a final vote on this legislation to happen sometime next week. A source tells us it could be Wednesday, Anna.
Yep, and earlier they voted on the amendment to ban men and women's sports, and that did not pass either. Thank you so much. News Nation's Hannah Brandt live for us outside the White House. Appreciate it.
President Trump is hitting back at Senate Majority Leader John Thune after the South Dakota lawmaker said the Save America Act is unlikely to pass law.
Well, he's got to be a leader, you know. If he's a leader, he's got to get him. It's the most popular bill I've ever seen put before Congress. And it's voter ID and it's voter. You have to be able to be a citizen to vote. It's called citizenship.
The president says the legislation is critical for Republicans to win in November's midterm elections. The Save America Act would require proof of citizenship to register to vote, along with a photo ID to cast a ballot, but also place restrictions on mail ballots. For more, let's bring in CBS News election law expert and contributor David Becker. He's also the executive director at the Center for Election Innovation and Research. So, David, if the Senate were to pass the SAVE Act, how would this work?
You know, I'm not even sure lawmakers know. The bill is a huge bill that would require the creation of a vast bureaucracy in every single state, a vast and expensive bureaucracy to collect and store and make reviewable data that government already has. We should realize that, for instance, with proof of citizenship requirements, we know that DMVs are largely collecting this information. All of us, when we go into motor vehicles agencies now to get our IDs, we have to show proof of legal presence. And the motor vehicles agencies,
so many documents you need.
Yeah, and they're storing that. So we have already proven our citizenship with motor vehicles, but this bill would require us to show it again and again and again, to dig it up repeatedly, to show it again and again and again. Even though government already has it, it's a bill that would make us work for government rather than make government work for us. It also requires the most extensive ID, the most restrictive ID of any state in the country, way more restrictive than any other state currently has. It requires an ID that also proves citizenship, which most of us don't have, which would require many of us to have to prove citizenship again, to once again dig up our documents and bring them with us when we vote. And if we want to vote by mail, it would require us to find a copy machine and copy our ID not once but twice. Once when we ask for a mail ballot, and second when we return it. This is a radical change of elections. And I think this is one of the reasons that this bill has slim to no chance of passing. As with other bills, we recall in 2021, the Democrats tried to pass a sweeping election reform bill. Both of these bills have been similar in the sense that the opposition party is united in opposition to it. And Republicans in this case, there's a few who aren't in favor of it, a couple of Democrats who weren't in favor of the 2021 bill that Democrats were pushing. So we're seeing, I think, this likely to play out. Senator Thune is going to allow it to come to the floor, and I think it's very, very unlikely to pass.
Well, David Becker, thank you for explaining that. Appreciate it.
Same time on Capitol Hill, President Trump turning up the pressure, calling on lawmakers to pass the Save America Act or cancel Easter recess to get it done. Over the weekend, lawmakers held a rare Sunday session to keep debate on that bill moving.
It's a piece of common sense legislation that we think is overwhelmingly supported by the American people. And we intend to keep pushing forward and ensure that the American people know whether their senators are for or against, ensuring that only American citizens vote in American elections.
So far, 2 Republicans are not on board. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski and North Carolina Senator Thom Tillis, who is retiring. Trump said any Republican voting against the bill should be primaried in their next election.
Immediately for signature. So with that, today, I will take your questions. Benny, thank you for being here, and why don't you start us off?
Thank you, Caroline. So my first question is actually about the Save America Act. So one of the biggest things that the Democrats are saying, the claims that they're making, is that the Save America Act, it would prevent married women from voting in elections or make it harder for them. What do you have to say to those claims? Is there any validity to them, and where do you think they're getting this from?
There is zero validity to these claims, and I'm glad that you brought them up, because you have the Democrats who have created this myth, and it has been perpetuated, unfortunately, by many in the mainstream media. Let me be very clear. The Save America Act does not prohibit anyone from voting with the exception of illegal aliens. And the greatest way to disenfranchise American citizens from voting in American elections is to allow illegal aliens to vote, which is what Democrats want to do. We see it taking place in Democrat jurisdictions at the state and local level across this country. So the Save America Act corrects that. And as far as married women who have changed their name, if they're already registered to vote, they're entirely unaffected by the SAVE Act. And for the small fraction of individuals who have changed their name or their address, they can still register to vote, of course. They just have to go through their state processes to update that documentation. And this is something that the American people, married women, and minorities, and people all across this country who Democrats are insultingly saying cannot do this, they're already doing it every day, going to the Social Security office, going to the DMV, and I think it's frankly insulting that the Democrats are saying that there are certain groups of people in this country who aren't smart enough to update their documentation to allow them to vote. Again, this is a huge myth, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to address it.
Of course, and there was one more question about DHS.
Y'all there? It's all quiet.
MD, I can't hear you.
I was like, "Are you guys good?" It's like silence.
Oh, my bad. The mute button was
Okay.
on the microphone. My bad. It's like a touchpad. I didn't even know I hit it. My fault. So we got a brief overview of what the SAVE Act is and what some of the talking points are in the SAVE Act. Ricardo, give me your overall thoughts. Let me know what you think about it.
Okay.
Is it a finesse move? Like, what you think?
I'm just literally annoyed by both. At this point, what's the relevancy of having these people that are in the House and the Senate voting? Like, and you know, I read an article about this 2 years ago, or actually during the pandemic, and I was like, there's no way. But now I'm beginning to feel like how some people are beginning to feel. What is the purpose of these so-called politicians that are voting? Like, do they see themselves relevant anymore? Like, what is the purpose of some of these people? Because we're perpetuating and we're saying the same things over and over again. Okay, let's just do a random civics lesson for those who forgot. Again and again, we say this, and we'll say this multiple times. If you are not a citizen of this country, because the first thing you are taught when you become a naturalized citizen, or whether you were born here, which again is always being brought up in the media, you're told one significant thing. Once you're naturalized, you are allowed to vote. If you have a PR card, meaning a permanent residency card, meaning that card that's like the naturalization card, you are not permitted by law to vote. The minute you go into a booth to vote or go anywhere near any voting station, the first thing they're gonna ask you is, are you a citizen? And if so, you need to show the card, and then you're permitted to vote. I don't know why we keep going over the same line over and over again where they're talking about, it's only the illegals. I'm like, who are these illegals? Like, I need the stats of them showing this where it states that people are coming up to a booth that brave and then stating that they're going to vote. You cannot vote if you are not a citizen of this country, in any country, because, being from having, well, I shouldn't put my business out there, but like I said, I have, if you want to say it, dual citizenship. In the same case in the other country, you cannot vote if you are not a citizen. Any country in the world you go to, you cannot be voting unless you're a citizen. I don't understand why we keep going over the same line over and over again, but I guess it's the way to zhuzh up and rev up the nationalists and all of those people who are thinking illegal people are voting. It's not true. There's no way you could get away with that. The minute you try to do it, it's automatically a red flag. So this whole non-starter for us talking about illegal people trying to vote it's ridiculous. Please stop doing it. It's annoying me now. Like, I don't know why we keep, and then the president doesn't help when he keeps saying the same thing over and over again, and people are falling for it. It is not true. You cannot vote unless you're a citizen. The first thing they tell you when you become a naturalized citizen, when you do the ceremony, is you are now allowed to vote. That's the first thing they tell you. When you're a permanent resident, you cannot vote. You're not allowed to. That's the first thing they give you when you get the green card. You are not allowed to vote. Can we please stop this nonsense? It's annoying the crap out of me when they keep going over and over again, but I digress. The whole SAVE Act. Yeah. Go ahead, MD.
No. I was just going. I'm gonna let you continue, but I just brought up. So here's the.
MD, I can't hear you.
Yeah, you tipped out again, MD. I don't know if it's your mic. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. I don't know why I keep doing that. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you perfectly well now, but you
it ain't no cutout. I'm hitting the mute button, and I don't know how.
Okay.
It's a mute button on the actual mic. I don't know how I keep hitting it. But anyway, so this is the voter ID map that I got brought up, and I'm gonna let you continue after this. Most of the lower 48, you got to show photo ID to vote.
ID, right?
You know, all of the South, you got to do that. Most of the Midwest. Now, the states in yellow, you can have non-photo ID. Well, what does that mean? Meaning you can have like a student ID or another form of identification to vote. Keep in mind, still, you got to show proof of citizenship and to register to vote.
My point.
You know what I'm saying? Again, it's a moot point, but continue.
But that's that goes to show again. I don't know if they're doing it to galvanize the base. I don't know if it's like a slogan line to try to push this whole illegals or voting initiative. I don't know. Like again, I need stats because if we keep talking about this, I need people to start showing me stats of where they saw in previous elections that illegals or so-called quote-unquote illegals are going to these booths and voting. You have to show proof that you're a citizen. I don't understand why we keep perpetuating this nonsense of, oh, the illegals are going to vote. Where are you seeing this? Because they have to show proof. And even let's say in the slightest regard that someone decided, oh, I'm going to be a smart ass and go vote. They know that you're not a citizen because it automatically flags you. So I don't know why we keep talking about this. It's just annoying and frustrates me every single time. Again, I digress because it's a whole civics lesson that I think a lot of people need to know. But just in case you need to know from the horse's mouth, I became naturalized in this country. So the first thing you have to, they give you a whole plethora of steps that you need to know the laws, you need to know this, you need this. You literally go through the stages of the country was formed on the basis of slavery. They go through the whole historic timeline until you get to the final step where you do the test. And they literally ask you the same questions over and over again. And one of them is, are you allowed to vote, or are you as a non-citizen or as a citizen are you allowed to vote? It literally tells you or tests you that you're not supposed to unless you're a citizen. So I don't know why we keep going over this. Maybe it's a talking point. Again, I don't know if it's to galvanize, but can we please just move past this? It's annoying me now. Like at this point, why are we doing this? But we know why. Again, Agent Orange, that's my new term for him, is doing the most. So if that helps galvanize your base, so be it, sir, but it's nonsensical. Please stop. We've all done civics at this point. The SAVES Act, at this point, I don't even know. To me, I don't think it's going to pass. The Democrats have told the so-called leaders in the House, they've even asked, they asked what's his name today, if he thinks it's going to pass. He then says something to the effect of, oh, but the president says that he's going in parables. He's basically doing, if we call this nigger babbling, we're going to say they're doing wigger babbling. They're doing a whole bunch of going around just try to appease him, to appease the president, because they don't want to say the wrong thing to then get him angry. At this point, what are you guys doing? Because you guys are utterly useless. If you can't tell somebody, hey, a bill is not going to pass because so-and-so is in there, it's just ridiculous to me. What are y'all doing? At this point, I'm even agreeing with, and I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth, Marjorie Taylor Greene is even literally lashing y'all. Y'all GOPs are ridiculous at this point. Y'all are getting beaten left, right, and center in random elections, and y'all can't see why, and this is the precursor to November. Y'all need to get it together because it's just ridiculous. But again, the SAVES Act is not going to pass. My frustration with this whole act and them going through with the whole, we're going to implement ICE in here and we're going to do this. Please pay the damn TSA agents. They're literally going through 2 months of not getting paid. And there's what?
Ricardo, we got a segment on that.
I know. But I wanted to put that out there because I work amongst them and they're very cranky as well. I don't know what the leaders in Washington are doing, but I know the Democrats are trying to do something. But GOP, please just do the right thing and stop this nonsense. If they're not going to fund ICE, let it go. You guys have literally been raping us for years with, and I hate to say that, let me correct myself, raping us for years by literally charging $5 or $6 for every time you purchase a ticket. Every American that has purchased a ticket, if you look on your literal breakdown of a cost structure of when you fly, you're literally being charged $6, which is being funneled, which should have been funding the TSA agents. We're going to talk about that in the segment when it comes up. But now they're funneling that funds elsewhere, and you're not paying these workers. Why are we then funneling the funds when you're literally been taking money out of the American citizens, the taxpayers' money, for years, saying that you're going to help these people, and now you're just going, oh, it was supposed to help FEMA and everybody else. This is ridiculous. Y'all need to get it together, both sides. I'm not just going to say one side, but both of y'all. Both parties need to get it together. This is ridiculous now. The American people is frustrated. Gas is too damn high. I'm going to sound like the damn guy that says rent is too damn high from the New York election. Y'all are getting frustrated at this point. Please cut it out. Let's get something done. Why do I sound like a bum at this point? Let's just work on something. But again, we're all going to wait until November because this is what y'all want, right? This is ridiculous, and I digress. Let me just hear what Venkat and MD got to say. This is just frustrating, bro. Really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about that in a totally different subject. I guess Ricardo just couldn't help himself because he's passionate about the topic. I don't know. But we're going to talk about that in a second. Venkat, what's your thoughts on SAVE Act and the hoopla going about with the debate and whatnot and where it's going from here?
Well, the SAVE Act is a fraud, straight up and down. This is a known tactic and a playbook from the Republican Party. It's been going on forever. Republicans know when voter turnout is high, they more than likely will die. If the voter turnout is low, they more than likely will win. This is we've had videos, we've had people on record in meetings talk about this over the decades. And this is a strategic thing being done. Why do they want to do this? Well, first of all, the people that are affected disproportionately are going to be people that are usually going to vote Democratic. So you may say, oh, you should have your ID and blah, blah, blah. But some people, they can't get access to it for multiple reasons, whether it be the travel, whether it be the cost, whether it be the time. There's just a lot there, not to mention the whole married woman thing, which KKK Caroline tried to act like that was not a valid point. You get your name changed.
It's not that she done acted like it was a valid point. She straight up lied.
Well, yeah.
She did. And I'll talk about that in a second. Go ahead.
Hell, in fact, she lied.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but this is an old ass playbook from the Republican Party that they've utilized throughout the decades, and Trump has just latched on it. But Trump is already made himself look like a buffoon. He talks about fraud and voter ID and all this other stuff. He doesn't want mail-in ballots. We just did a special election in West Palm Beach, and he mail-in voted on that.
Y'all be giving up the game, man. Y'all, it's like y'all jump this shit. Y'all know I'm gonna talk about it. Y'all know I'm gonna talk. Y'all know I'm gonna have a segment on it.
I know we can't help ourselves.
Y'all be jumping the gun, man. God,
come on, MD.
I got a whole segment in the headline talking about that, and you know I was gonna talk. But go ahead. I'm just fooling. Go ahead.
No, but I mean, it's a strategy. It's a tactic, and people need to see it for what it is. There are valid concerns for certain demographics, certain groups to get. It's not that people are illegal and And by the way, if you're an illegal person, oh man, I'm a legal person. I'm gonna go ahead and put myself out there and vote in this election. Risk being caught, which they often do. I mean, the fraud isn't even significant. It's not even 1% over the last.
I believe they said 0.002. I think they said.
Exactly. So there's not even a real valid reason to do it, and it's just such buffoonery. But you know, we just got to call out for what it is. Unfortunately, not everybody is tuned in to things, so they just hear these like official sounding terms, like voter ID and just having your ID and just having everything sound legal and common sense. But there's a hidden agenda behind it. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that point. So let's break down. And by the way, Ricardo, we had a mega maniac in here at one point, said she was telling lies, and I was going to try to get him to break down what he believed that was a lie, but that's why I had that up there. I guess you didn't see it.
No, I saw it. I was trying to figure out what if I was telling the lies, or was it
I'm assuming because he said just you. That was when you were talking.
Oh, okay.
So I'm assuming, it's always good to have mega maniacs.
No, that's fine. If you want to come up and debate, that's fine. Because I would love to know what lies I'm telling. But okay.
yeah, he probably gone at this point. It's all good. But so this is what I'll say. Let's start from the end and work our way back. Caroline Leavitt straight up lied. Actually, she contradicted herself. So she said, about the married women and whatnot, that if they already registered, they'll be perfectly fine. That's not true, according to how the legislation is worded. It's just not true at all. In the legislation, it clearly says first, states have to give up their voter rolls to the federal government to validate past positions of voter registration. After the fact, after the bill is passed, the voter rolls are handed over to the federal government. You would have to get through the process of registration all over again. All of us is going to have to do that. Every single last one of us. It's literally written that way in the legislation. So she lied. Now, that's part of the reason why I believe it will never get passed. It'll never get passed. Because not only does it put a burden on what they perceive to be problematic when it comes to Democratic voting, it's a burden on everybody. It'll never pass. Now, you got the two Republicans that are holding steadfast against what they believe, with Murkowski and Tom Tillis in North Carolina.
And they're going out. So what difference does it make at this point?
Well, again, I put it to you this way. They're the ones that are the mouthpiece of the let's just say moral majority, for a lack of a better term. It's plenty of more Republican senators that's not with this bill. Just a couple of weeks ago, when they was talking about putting the debate on the floor, John Thune told everybody we ain't got the votes. He said it live on TV.
I think I remember that too. You're right.
I mean, he literally said it live on. Now, why would he say that if we just talking about two Republicans? Now, if you look at it on its face, it's still not enough because you got to have a 60 vote majority.
Facts.
So with the Democrats saying no and those two, you don't have enough votes in theory. But that's not why John Thune said that. That ain't why John Thune said that. He said that because he understands the body of the Senate Republicans are looking weary upon this bill because it's going to affect all of their states, all of them.
Facts.
They know that.
That part.
So now they in a conundrum. They saying, do we go with dear leader and try to push this because he want to do it as fast as possible, so he ain't got to worry about it. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got to, that's it. Then when it comes to start registering voters, that's where the stumbling block comes into play. They're hedging their bet on betting that there'll be more stumbling blocks for Democratic voters than Republicans. It's almost like throwing a feather in the wind and hoping it lands in the right place. That's what it is. I'm just being honest with you. So when we look at what's going on with the situation at hand, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Venkat and Ricardo. It's not going to pass. And if it does pass, it's going to be outright pandemonium when it comes to how the states handle it. Because all the states ain't going to handle it the same way. You know, ultimately, the states are who handles these federal elections. So you mean to tell me all the states are going to be able to efficiently and productively give all voter rolls of all the people in all their states to the federal government, and it's going to be in an orderly fashion? Hell no. Hell no. You might as well go and push the damn midterms back. That's what Trump is going for. It ain't
happening.
It ain't happening. If Trump wanted to go the way it's going to go, we won't have a midterm election. That's just a fact.
He's trying to avoid that tsunami.
You hit the nail on the head, Venkat. It's about the stumbling block, which is the Save America Act as a whole.
It's
the storyline or the angle in wrestling terms is pitting Democrats and Republicans against each other about what it may do, and trying to make Democrats look like fools by insinuating that niggas can't get their paperwork together in order to register to vote. And women barefoot in the kitchen that's married. You know what I'm saying? That's just the storyline.
But it's a farce.
It's an angle.
It's
a farce. Now again, I don't take away the fact that yes, it will be a stumbling block for these people based on historical parameters that surround their situation. I'm not generalizing it either.
Right.
How crazy do I look by saying niggas ain't got their birth certificate?
Right.
Especially when it comes to Black American folk. We know where to go to get our birth certificate. So just turn to the Bible. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? Now that's an old
or underneath the mattress.
Yeah, or underneath the mattress. That's an old black trope. Everybody know that, and it's funny.
But it's crazy though, MD. Just not to interrupt you, but it's like this whole perpetuation of like Black people not knowing. Like again, this narrative that they keep painting every single day. It's like, dude, aren't y'all tired at this point? Like just trying to like do the same playbook over and over again. It's like if you see me speaking eloquently well, it's like, oh, but I thought you're gonna speak it in Ebonics. Yes, I can speak in Ebonics, but I can also flip it too. So when you do your own speaky spoke, I can do my speaky spoke too. I don't understand why we're doing this perpetuation of, oh, Black folks don't know and they're not gonna have the paperwork. What would make you think that Black people won't come out in droves to vote this November? Like, am I missing something? Like, what is going on here? Again, stop with this whole perpetuation of Black people are not going to be doing this, or it's beyond an old playbook that is annoying as hell. But maybe we, because Black people have been taking a step back since this whole, they want us to like boycott and they want us. If that's what y'all want, we step aside and we let the Hispanics do whatever they need to do at this point. But again, Democrats, y'all need to start stepping up as an opposition party. This is crazy to me. And it's not for me to tell you as an independent voter what you need to be doing going forward into November. But there's a lot of missteps you guys can make and screw this up. But I digress. Again, MD, I hated to interrupt you about it, but I just need to point that out there because I hear it every day over and over again. It's like, it's crazy to me. Like, why we keep falling for these perpetuated old playbooks from the 50s, 60s, going back to the 40s? Black people are not monoliths. I digress.
Yeah, I agree with that point, but Venkat, maybe you can answer it. What are, in your opinion, what are the Democrats doing as far as fumbling the messaging toward to say? To me, it only comes down to one thing: stereotype. I think they do a bad job at reflecting what the negative effects are as a group, and then they allow Republicans to switch the narrative on them, like Caroline Levitt did in that press briefing. You know what I'm saying? Saying Black people don't know where they paperwork at, and women and all this type of shit. I mean, it's like political judo. When the Democrats say something, the Republicans flip it around to make it like look bad. I think Democrats, that goes back to what we've been saying since Trump got back in office. messaging when it comes to direct impact of what the Republicans do as far as policy look bad because Democrats really don't know how to message it appropriately. You know what I'm saying?
Well, they need to attack the illegitimacy of what it is they're doing, and they need to call it out directly for what it is. It's just they're targeting groups of people to suppress their vote, and it just needs to be highlighted, whether through their campaign speeches or every time they talk. They should always be, because that's what Trump does, right? He's so repetitive with his nonsense stuff that people hear it so much that they just accept it as is, as truth. And the Democrats just need to just use that same playbook on him. And they need to be more united. Fetterman got to go because he's just undermining. He's the new Joe Manchin. But yeah, they need to do a better job messaging for sure.
You say Fetterman got to go just to have him replaced with a Tallarico? I mean, I said it.
Not the lefty duties doing the wrong thing.
But we don't know if Tallarico is going to be as bad. I mean, I have my issues with Tallarico, but we don't know if that's
all right, let me do a sidebar then. Just real quick. 15 seconds. It ain't going to take long. 15 seconds.
Yeah.
In 2024, it wasn't just lefty loonies. It was the other side of the Democrats too. In 2024, everybody had their panties in a bunch and saying it was the wrong strategy when Kamala had Liz Cheney and and Jeff Duncan and all of these people. Now, 2 years later, in 2026, that's a good thing. We need to play the other side of the aisle to get as many. That's a good thing now. Tallarico can get moderates and Republicans that are tired of Trump.
Well, okay. So what I would say for that
real quick, so we can move on.
Yeah, what I would say for that is that this is Texas they're trying to win. So they haven't won Texas in 20, 30 years, and they've come very, very close. This tactic wasn't done before, so they're figuring this will get them within, or actually get over the hill, over the top with the voters. So I mean, I think it's a little different. They're attempting to try to get a state that they've been very close to getting. So this strategy, this tactic, this particular candidate, they feel they can get it over the top. But I believe the other notion, whereas there's way more Democratic voters right now. I think the electric has changed in the last few years. And I think that now is a prime time to go after those Democratic votes. I mean, it's nice to get some Republicans there, but if you just stick with that base and because they outnumber the Republicans, the actual registered voters, significantly. The Democrats outnumber the Republicans' registered voters. So that means you need to just make sure you tap into all those registered Democrats. So,
gotcha. So in summary, all in on the state, fuck the country. Got it. Let's move on. Let's move on to the next video here, and we're gonna stick to this. We're gonna stick to this topic. Let's listen to John Kennedy and what he had to say.
Senator Cruz and I came up with a plan. We said, look, it's a two-step process. The Democrats have offered to open up everything but ICE. Ted and I said, okay, let's accept their offer. And then at the same time, we would offer a bill for reconciliation where we don't need any Democratic votes to do whatever we wanted to do with ICE. And that way we're out of the shutdown and DHS is back open. We submitted that, Senator Cthulhu submitted that to President Trump, as is his right. He said no deals with the Democrats. It would have worked. We could have had TSA paid by the end of the week, but the president said no deal.
Yeah, my bad. Not the same topic. We moving on to DHS. I wanted to play that initially, so we could understand like clear as day what the play is. again, I said in a video that I did yesterday that, you know, we put a lot of onus on laughing and pointing the finger at Taco, right? But I think it's deeper, much deeper than that. And I coined the phrase, Trump always considers optics. Dealing with the situation at hand when it comes to ICE, we gonna talk about ICE, and then we'll broaden it to DHS and what it is as total. The whole debacle with ICE in LA initially, then moving on to Chicago, moving on to Minnesota, and we see what the
Washington,
optics
D.C.
DC, yeah. What was ICE in DC? Or was that National Guard? I think that was National Guard.
Oh,
that was
okay.
in DC. Yeah, we talking about ICE. The whole debacle that took place, you know, under the former Secretary of Department of Homeland Security. We'll talk about that later as well. Just the whole debacle. Trump considers optics, so he had to course correct, quote unquote, course correct, right? And move in a different direction. In the process of all this, we got this DHS shutdown. And the whole base of the DHS shutdown was Democrats didn't want to fund ICE anymore. Even though just last year, ICE became akin to top militaries in other countries as far as funding. Which is funny to me. I still don't get. Y'all saying that y'all don't want to fund. ICE already got the money. So you mean to tell me this whole thing when it comes to the DHS shutdown has got to do with ICE getting more money? I think they said from a funding standpoint, ICE was like the 7th or 8th top funded military in the world. Military, not police force, military.
That's crazy.
And this whole DHS shutdown is about ICE getting even more money. John Kennedy just told you to play. He said, look, last year we did reconciliation. Now this year is a new fiscal year. We could do another reconciliation package. Reconciliation, all that is funding. The congressional rules say you could do a reconciliation, meaning simple majority. You don't have to have 60 votes. Simple majority, 51. Once every fiscal year. They did it last year. I forgot what they did it on. They did it on something last year. This year, a new fiscal year, we can just fund ICE that way. So we can go ahead and pay. This goes to Ricardo's point he was making earlier. We can go ahead and fund DHS, FEMA, and TSA and all that stuff. Then when reconciliation come, we just can pass the ICE budget that they can't stop it. From a rules-based perspective, it's as simple as that. He said Trump said no. Why? And that's a question I'm asking y'all. Why did Trump say no?
He said no.
It ain't no right. It ain't no right or wrong answer. What you believe?
Well, he's saying no because that's too quiet. That's too cunning. That's too surgical. He wants to do everything and have a big win and a big public display of I was able to get this done this way. So there's the quieter.
I disagree with that, Venkat.
Okay.
I did, but I'm gonna let you continue. Then I'm gonna tell you why I disagree. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I want to know why you disagree. Go ahead.
So last week, and I didn't make this a headline because I want to see how it plays out. Last week, do you remember? Like you may not be familiar with the story. Last week they said, Trump and Hegseth was trying to get Congress to pass an additional $200 billion for the military for Iran. Remember that?
Yep.
That's going to be reconciliation. And once they do it, that let me know that we in it for the long haul. That's my conspiracy. That's my conspiracy. I'm just saying. Now, remember that $200 billion number. I'm talking to the MAGA maniacs now. Black Sun.
Which we don't need.
In particular. Now, just check this out, because it's going to blow your mind, Venkat.
Mm-hmm.
Black Sun said all this shit about Biden spending money on Ukraine, this, that, and the third. Biden in total from 2022 since the end of his presidency, in total, spent $182 billion. That's a lot of money. Now part of that was value of certain military assets that he gave to Ukraine, all that. That wasn't cash, all cash.
Right.
They're reporting that this war each day cost $1 billion.
$1 billion a day, yeah.
$1 billion a day. Trump is asking for $200 billion. That far exceed what Biden did. Let's just get that out of our way.
Of course.
Far exceed. So when it's all said and done, we're talking about basically double. If it goes the way I believe it's going to go, as the premonition comes to the mind of the political prophet amongst men, I believe if it goes the way I think it's going to go, from the vision that I got, we're talking about double or possibly 2.5 times what Biden did. And that was one of the main talking points of MAGA, spending money on foreign wars and how much it was.
The thing that frustrates me is that, first of all, the Republican Party has many different types of Republicans. But we know of these conservatives. And these conservatives are supposed to be all these geeky ass, punk ass crackers that just, we can't do that because that's not fiscally responsible. And all this other crap that they shove down our throats. When Obama was in office, dealing with a friggin' financial collapse, only worse than the friggin' Great Depression. And
that was the Paul Ryan era.
Right. And for some reason, to get anything passed, they had to follow it up with cuts. So Obama was getting money and then cutting on the back end on other areas and whatnot. And that had to be done. And here we have a Republican president in here again who is not fiscally responsible.
Spending money out the wazoo.
Oh, my God. His first term showed, Trump 45, the first term, he spent more money in those 4 years than all previous presidents combined. And now we're in this, and he is not slowing down one bit. So we talk about this deficit. We talk about all these different things that has to do with budget constraint. Look, didn't Trump just say these little kids going to have to not get $29?
Yeah,
they don't need $29 and all this other bullcrap.
They have to cut it down to 20, 27, maybe 26.
Food stamps and whatnot. We got to tighten up on that, and we can't do that. We can't have health care. We can't have none of these things. We've already spent health care 2 times over at least on some of the nonsense that we've done. And I'm just sick of it because it's like it's happening right now in real time. And these conservative niggas don't have nothing to say on any bit. If Biden just mildly did this, hey, shut that junk down.
No, she agreeing with
you. So, it's just ridiculous.
I'm assuming it's a she.
Oh, I'd say he.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, but it's just frustrating because I don't like that pass that he's getting there, and it just enables for more and more spending. He's already spending $1 billion a day, like you stated, and then to ask for an additional $200 billion is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. Ricardo, what you got?
But color me surprised, though. Are we that surprised by this? Because it's the same crooks, and when he talks about the crookery that in the previous elections that he was going on about, this is the same guy that literally, if we could even call it insider trading at this point, is that you have a whole bunch of pundits that know way ahead of schedule what is going to be happening out of his mouth, and lo and behold, things are happening, and the stock market is responding or not responding to it. I think this whole, when it's all said and done, and we literally know it's going to be scorched earth when it's all said and done by the time they get out. But they need to investigate all these people from him come all the way down, because they're all connected one by one follow that money trail. Because to me, it's like all hypocrisy. When again, Venkat pointed out a very significant issue that I have as well, is when you see the GOP is in power or whatnot, or say they're not in power, it's always, oh, the Democrats are spending, they're overspending, they're bloating. If I check right now with the that commission that's in charge of like looking at how much expenditure the U.S. has spent in terms of the deficit and the ballooning of it and all of that, it will show you that based on the trajectory, like how Trump is in power now compared to like when Biden was in power, he's overspending beyond the limit. So I'm sure we're going over our cap limit amount, which is like, I guess we have a certain credit rating or whatnot. He's way over that threshold. So again, this hypocrisy of, oh my God, the Democrats are overspending. Oh my God, they're doing this. We got to cap it. We got to cut it down. It's a bunch of bull crap. It's all talking points that gets nowhere. And again and again, they do it. And I don't understand why the Democrats don't push back and show proof. Hey, this is how much we spend. This is the reason why. This is the things they're cutting. This is what's going to happen to healthcare. Again, we're still getting concept of a plan from the GOP side and him. Or I mean, Agent Orange at this point is just doing a whole bunch of spiel of lies, which again, we all know he lies. I mean, you'll be shocked to think this guy is telling the truth. It's all lies. If it's not lies, it's made up crap. Even what's his name is rolling his eyes while he's talking in a clip we were seeing yesterday. It's just buffoonery and nonsense that just makes no sense to me. But again, we digress. What are we doing at this point in terms of not holding these people to the fire, putting their foot to the fire and saying it's a bunch of crap, it's a bunch of foolishness, y'all just over talking points that make no sense, and again you're just regurgitating or vomiting out the same word uselessness that you guys always go on and on about. It just, to me, it's just a whole bunch of much to do about nothing. But this is how they get the other sides to be galvanized and believe the bull crap, and they sit down and watch the news on Fox and call other people liars. And once we're the liars, it's like it's a whole roll ball. What do you call it? Snowball effect to nowhere, because you're just arguing with people that just either don't care at this point or they just believe they think of, I'm coming up with a new word. I want to say it properly. Sycophanatical bullshit. That's it.
Hey, I get you, but to your point, where you were talking about as far as like SEC, Security and Exchange Commission and shit like that. Remember Trump in the State of the Union, did he not say that he had some time? Hell, I think it might be rolled up in the Save America Act. I could be wrong, but he got some piece.
It's in there. Yes,
with insider trading. I believe it's in the Save America Act. I believe it's in there.
It is.
But everybody, huh?
But okay. So are you talking about that insider trade bill that the Republicans are?
Yeah, remember he was talking about it at the State of the Union.
Yeah, but that's not a real bill to really affect it. It's a theatrical show.
Okay, I got you. I'm just
what
saying.
I mean by it's usually the bigger earning people in Congress and the Senate or whatnot. They have like a loophole that gets them out of it, and like the lower rated Congress people or whatnot, they can face some consequences, but they really don't face it.
The bottom feeders that inside trade, they the ones that gonna get.
right, and that's frustrating because what they're doing essentially, and this is why people need to pay attention to politics, because what they're doing is they're showing you something to get credit for doing something that they're not really doing. And in passing, you're just hearing buzzwords, and you have the feeling that, oh yeah, look, Trump, he's standing up. Meanwhile, Trump is in real time doing insider trading, right. Real time.
Yeah, it's just like it's like the narrative of just like you said, Venkat, and Ricardo mentioned it too. This whole thing about being fiscally responsible and how are they spending all this money? Well, I'll tell you how they're spending all this money, because the shit's not real. It's an angle. I keep telling people this, and it's like they don't understand. Whoever's in charge, or it could be the parliamentarian, whoever it may be, that's the booker. Again, we're gonna look at it in wrestling terms. You got somebody in government that's the booker of the storylines, of the angles.
Yep.
Listen, we this side, you're going to talk about how the other side is fiscally irresponsible and all they do is spend money. But then when we get control, we going to actually spend all the money. And then when we get out of power, that same money that we spent, we're going to blame it on them and say, look, see, look at the budget. It's fake. That's what I'm telling you. There is no such thing as spending money and deficit. It's all a lie. Our government don't work like me and you and our budget. The shit don't work that way.
Right. That's true.
Bank default and credit rating and for the government, that's all bullshit, man. Now on a broader sense, like we talking about the Iran war and whatnot, yes, you can look at it as like hegemony. You know what I'm saying? Like your dollar is in control. Now you may face eviction in terms of your shit not being in control no more, but the overall economy in and of itself, the way we spend money, it's not affected at all. You know what I'm saying? It's just not. It's a storyline that the booker put to have bad guys and good guys, and we cheer and we boo. That's it. That's all it is. You know, I hate to put it that way, but that's all it is. You know what I'm saying? So let me play this other part of this video talking about Department of Homeland Security and TSA.
Hey. So let me ask you about that, because you are the whole reason, as you just laid out, that DHS is not funded right now is because you're trying to push the administration to enact some policy changes on how Border Patrol and ICE act when they're out looking for illegal immigrants. And now what you're saying is that you're okay with funding TSA, which has been, I think, the biggest point of leverage that you possibly had in order to get what you want on ICE, because ICE already has its money. So what was the point of this shutdown if you're okay with funding TSA?
Well, we never approach these things that are in front of us with respect to government funding in the context of leverage. Our approach is, what is the appropriate use of taxpayer dollars? And we believe that taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people, not brutalize or kill them or violently target law-abiding immigrant families, which is what we know ICE agents have been doing. And so at this point in time, more than 30 days in to the Trump Republican Department of Homeland Security shutdown, I think the most appropriate course of action is to fund TSA, fund FEMA, fund the Coast Guard, fund our cybersecurity professionals so that, you know, Republicans stop holding the American people hostage and these hardworking civil servants because of the Republican unwillingness, at least to date, to get ICE under control. Listen, we believe that immigration enforcement in this country should be fair, just, and humane. And Donald Trump promised that he was going to go after the worst of the worst, violent felons who are here illegally. That's not what has been happening. They're targeting American citizens and law-abiding immigrant families. And of course that needs to end. That is not an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars.
White House border czar Tom Homan is meeting tonight with a bipartisan group of senators to discuss funding the Department of Homeland Security, parts of which have been shut down for more than a month as this standoff drags on. Now, Homan also met with senators yesterday. Here to talk about the impact of that partial shutdown on both TSA workers and air travelers is Meg Oliver. Meg, good morning.
Kelly, good morning. At one point Friday, air travelers in Houston waited more than 3 hours to clear security. Authorities warn if you're flying this weekend, prepare to see long lines.
I have an hour now.
Lose your place in line.
But my people.
And you might face a maze of other travelers. Airport lines are growing and more checkpoints are closing as a partial government shutdown drags on over failure to agree on immigration reforms, leaving 50,000 TSA officers working without pay.
We should not be punished because congressmen are fighting with each other.
According to the TSA, more than 20% of workers called out at a half dozen airports this week, leaving passengers in several cities waiting anywhere from 45 minutes to more than 3 hours to get through security.
We're praying for a miracle.
But for some, no such luck.
I'm going to go back to the airline to see if they can pull my luggage.
On Friday, the U.S. Senate failed again to advance a bill that would fund the Department of Homeland Security, pay TSA officers, and begin to restore regular order to America's airports. George Borg is a TSA officer in Atlanta, frustrated they have to work without getting paid.
Someone else dictating, whether you have food on your table or not. It's so frustrating for the officers because we have good officers here. They want to work.
While TSA workers wait for a paycheck, food donations are pouring in, including from World Central Kitchen, which provided more than 14,000 meals for workers at 7 airports this week.
World Central Kitchen is so incredible. Chef Jose Andres is just like, he's usually in war zones, and unfortunately he has to be here helping our TSA workers get
Always
by.
stepping up, isn't he?
He really is. Meg, thank you so much.
Hours-long wait times at airports across the country tonight.
It was 4 hours to get to the plane.
You cannot be serious right now. Lines stretching all the way to the parking garage in New Orleans. A similar scene in New York City and Philadelphia. It's why President Trump says that on Monday, ICE agents will be going to airports to help TSA workers who've gone without full paychecks since February. White House border czar Tom Homan today admitting they don't have a plan yet.
I'm currently working on the plan now of execution. We'll execute tomorrow.
NBC News has learned more than 400 TSA officers have quit since the shutdown began. Thousands more are calling out, many falling behind on their bills. For 37 days, Democrats have blocked funding to the Department of Homeland Security because of the administration's immigration crackdown. It isn't yet clear what travelers will see tomorrow. According to Homan, who is deploying ICE to the busiest airports, agents would take on TSA responsibilities that don't require specialized training. So you may not see them in the screening lines.
I think it's going to make it even more nerve-wracking for people.
You think they'll be afraid to fly?
I will be.
And as Democrats push Homan for changes to ICE operations in exchange for reopening DHS, there is growing concern from both parties that Trump's new idea will do more harm than good.
It's not a fix that is going to encourage us here to resolve this.
It's unfortunate that Republicans have decided that they would rather force TSA agents to work without pay and create chaos at airports throughout the land rather than get ICE agents under control. Our basic premise.
Julie is joining us now from Fort Lauderdale Airport, where we see some of the lines behind you, Julie. And people may be wondering why Congress doesn't seem to have a lot of urgency around trying to end this Homeland Security shutdown.
Yeah, absolutely, Hallie. Look, I fly into this airport often to visit family. I don't remember seeing it like this. Now, I'm told Democrats in the White House are moving in the right direction in terms of negotiations. But one senator telling me, Hallie, why should they get to fly home when Americans are dealing with lines like these? Hallie?
Right now, we are tracking airport wait times. A lot of it was talking about this with spring break and other travel things happening in and around our communities. Travelers have faced some of the worst security lines we have ever seen at Hartsfield-Jackson in recent days.
Yeah, it's been an absolute headache out there. And we know that at least nearly 1/3 of the TSA workers in Atlanta, they've already called out as this government shutdown drags on. So today we saw ICE agents. They were sent to Hartsfield-Jackson and about a dozen other airports all across the country trying to manage those crowds.
So we want to get you out to 11 Alive's Marissa Sarback live from the airport tonight. Marissa, we understand that there was just a protest taking place behind you?
Yeah, and it's just wrapping up just now, Jennifer and Ron. They were out here protesting ICE's involvement in the airport operations and really just the presence of these ICE agents here. There's just a few stragglers, but this went on for about the last hour. Now, I also spoke with the general manager of the airport a couple hours ago, and he told me that about 34 to 35% of these TSA agents had called out for the day. Now, we spoke with somebody inside TSA, and that source telling us that number is closer to 38%. The GM telling us that those ICE agents were here to help with crowd support, again, while it was really strenuous with the wait times earlier today. Take a listen.
Well, they showed up this morning, and it's my understanding they're going to remain until the government shutdown is is released.
ICE agents sent in by President Trump to airports around the country to help crowd control and assist TSA agents in keeping lines moving smoothly. They are not assisting in screening passengers to get them through quicker. On the airport's website, where travelers can typically find wait times, it continues to say, quote, due to current federal conditions, passengers are advised to allow at least 4 hours or more for domestic and international screenings.
In terms of the wait line communication, so the product that we used was actually confusing the passengers because it only measures wait time in the checkpoint, right? Our lines are well beyond the checkpoints. They're in the baggage claim area, ticketing lobby. So we thought we would take it down just to remove confusion.
Video from outside Hartsfield-Jackson this morning showed lines beginning outside of the airport. Many of the travelers here today attempted to fly out of Hartsfield-Jackson yesterday and missed their flights.
I didn't make my last 2 flights, and so it's kind of just become part of the context of this of the reality. So, you know, I have TSA and Clear and all that. I didn't feel like it helped at all. So today I'm trying this out and seeing maybe this will be better luck.
Even through the chaos on Sunday and Monday, travelers, for the most part, remained calm and understanding.
I'm a little frustrated that the government can't get their act together and pay people what they're here working. I was actually very excited to see some of the ICE agents here helping out their fellow workers. So that made me feel better that we have some extra hands on deck to make things happen.
The Department of Homeland Security says all across the country, more than 400 TSA agents have quit and thousands more have called out in the government shutdown that we're currently dealing with. Now, just a note, this is just a couple of months after that historic 43-day government shutdown that these agents dealt with back in November. Live at Hartsfield-Jackson, Marissa Sarback for 11 Alive News.
Yeah, it's going to be tough in the days and the weeks ahead. Marissa, thank you.
Okay. So, Ricardo, I'll let you go with this one because, like I said, you got experience with it firsthand in terms of what you're saying. I'll just say this. Based on the videos I've seen, I ain't seen ICE. Like, what is ICE helping with? I'm still confused about what the move along crew. I don't know how much of a help that's supposed to be, you know. But go ahead, Ricardo.
Yeah, man. The video, shows something that, you're seeing very heavy notated on, and that's the fact that the lines are long due to not having the man processing power of like the agents assisting and doing the most to get, people going from point A to point B to point C. It's sad, man, because MD, you're in Georgia, which if y'all don't know, Atlanta is the busiest airport in the world. If you guys didn't know, Atlanta is so busy because of the fact that the Delta hub is there, and literally it's Delta, I believe it's Southwest, and I believe I think that's the only 2 major.
Yeah, they just got Southwest a few years ago. It's mainly right. Delta.
It's mainly Delta, yeah.
Yeah, the reason that they call it the busiest airport, all it is because we got so many connecting flights.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that point.
And everybody from around the world, usually, if they got to get on a connected flight, they going through Atlanta. That's just what it is.
They converge in Atlanta. If it's not Atlanta, it's New York City. If it's not New York City, it's Minneapolis. Is it Minneapolis or Detroit? Because the merger of Northwest and Delta to combine into one company. But it's a shit show. Like, I've seen Georgia, I've seen Texas, I think, because it's the largest state, will probably have the most issue. New York will always, have that problem. But here in Florida, it's usually Miami. Fort Lauderdale only has the huge long lines that you saw because it converged onto the spring break week and the fact that we're right beside the second largest cruise ship port in the world, which is Port Everglades. So if y'all know and you don't know, Fort Lauderdale, Miami, and West Palm Beach are pretty much sister cities. They all share the same connectivity from north to south. And so it's a lot of traffic. It's usually a convergence of, if you can't go through Miami, which everybody hates going through, if you know, no one likes going through Miami. But if you have to connect through there, it is the biggest hub in the South region, which in itself connects with Latin America. So everywhere that you could think of Hispanically for a country would be Miami. If you don't want to go to Miami, you go to Fort Lauderdale, which would be the second best option because it's like I don't want to go through that issue. I just go to Fort Lauderdale. So if you know, you go to my airport, which is Fort Lauderdale. If you can't do Fort Lauderdale,
Is Fort Lauderdale an international airport?
it is. It does get international traffic, not to the extent of how Miami will get it, but it's up there because with Spirit being the largest. Well, now Spirit actually lost that spot. JetBlue is the largest operator out of Fort Lauderdale. Spirit is now the second because Spirit started losing a lot of money, so they have to start.
That's where the nigga flights touch down at. If
Pretty
you want to go
much.
to Miami, yeah,
Exactly. But I mean, Spirit flies out. They fly out of Miami too, but Fort Lauderdale is fortress. Like for the longest time, it's as a low cost carrier, it's always going to be Fort Lauderdale if you want to get out. But that's for anybody who's trying to bypass the whole international segment of Miami. If you can't go through Fort Lauderdale, then you're going to go to PBI, which is West Palm Beach. That's more of a quieter station in my sense because
like a regional airport.
It's more of a regional, but it gets some maybe probably not that much international traffic. I don't think we get international traffic at PBI. I don't think so.
Well, they consider the Canada flights.
Right. They do get one or two maybe Canadian flights, not so much like flights going into
Every now and then.
Yeah, every now and then, but I love PBI. It's very quiet. If I need to get a quick escape out, I would take PBI any day. But out of the PBI,
way more.
It's quiet though. I like that.
They get a lot of like the charter flights. Man, hey, I'm gonna tell you, man, like them regional airports, a lot of the charter flights go through the regional airport. Like if you're just going like little city to little city,
Right.
I hate them little
The
mini
tiny
jets.
planes?
Man, you can feel everything, man. I took a flight out of Atlanta. This was a couple years ago. I had to go up to Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
Man, they put us on a charter flight. I'm like, well, why, what the fuck, because again, it's like an express flight.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Man, that shit felt like a roller coaster, man. I was like, man, I'll never get on. If I fly, put me on an Airbus 757. I'm not getting on that little bit ass plane. Bump that.
But MD, you have the option to see what kind of plane you're flying on, right? So you could bypass flying on this.
Man, I took whatever was cheaper. and that little bit ass plane, I was like, man, this look like a damn like something off of Cars or something, bro. Like, why the plane so little? Then we took off, man. I thought I was in a spaceship, bro. I said, oh hell no. It don't feel like that on a jumbo jet. You know what I'm saying? On a little bit ass plane, I said, no, bro, I'm good.
I mean, that's what regional jets are for, but they make money and they move quickly. So that's
that motherfucker was. I thought I was going to space. That's what I'm telling you. I said, nah, bro. I said, nah, I'd never get on that shit again. Never. Hell no. Like you on an Airbus, you on a 747. You grab it feel like a bus. You know what I'm saying? It's big, it's huge. You fly, you know what I'm saying? You got some discomfort on takeoff, depending on who you are. in a little charter jet, bro, it's like you going straight up, like literally straight. I said, shit.
Yeah.
Do I supposed to feel like this? But this is face. Damn. But I digress, man.
You're not somebody that does. You like your big planes, MD.
I mean, I ain't scared of flying or nothing, but that wasn't flying. That was a rocket.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of propellers, but I'll take the regional jets if I need to. It's the propellers I don't like. I can't stand anything with propellers. No. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, back to the TSA thing. I think at this point, like I've been saying when I was ranting earlier, they need to start paying these people. It's been 2 months that some of these people have not been paid for. But I did find it interesting though that Captain Shoot the Dogs with her I killed the damn puppies is out here bribing the agents, talking about, oh, if you didn't call out, I'm gonna give you a $10,000 check. The $10,000 check is to make sure you guys knew that you stood as the patriots and you were bribing people with $10,000 checks at a time of need when some of these people have thank God there's in my area, I know there's food banks that are trying to support the TSA agents. If you have a TSA agent ID, you could pull up to the food bank and they'll give you free food. Once upon a time, I think in the previous, and again, I find it ironic. Remember, if y'all remember, because we are so
the last shutdown.
The last shutdown, and I'm not even talking about this recent one. The last in the first administration when Trump, well, I said his name, Agent Orange was elected in. Agent Orange, if you remember quite well, had a shutdown where TSA was affected really badly, and I believe there was a suicide in one of those shutdowns from a TSA agent. Lest we forget that. It was the same exact thing, and I think this is it's showing its cards again, where it's always under Trump's administration that this kind of nonsense happens, where there's a government shutdown. This is the third time I remember in recent history, in the first administration and now the second one, where we're having a lot of government shutdown. Why is this? And that the voters keep forgetting this, as well as the damn friggin' agents that are TSA agents, and believe it or not, are a lot of MAGA voters who voted for this nonsense and now sitting there talking about, oh, are you going to feed me? No, baby, I don't feel sorry for you one bit because you voted for this. You opened your mouth and said, oh, I voted for Trump, but now I take back my vote. No, baby, you woulda, coulda, shoulda, as what's her name said in the damn, movie. Doesn't help us now. We're now here. This is where you're at. You went through this the last time and you voted back this moron back into power for him to take away, your damn pay from you again. Like, this is ridiculous. But I digress. This is what y'all voted for. I don't understand. I can't in the life of me understand how you made the slick sales oilsman come back into play and tell y'all, oh, it's going to be great under me. I'm going to sell you the golden shoe, the golden Bible, the golden pen. I'm going to say, like, again, the greatest merchandise I've ever seen in my life is Trump. Like, it was Trump everything.
I'm still waiting on my Make America Great Again Bible. I ain't got it yet. That was supposed to be Black Son Christmas gift.
He put on pre-order the Trump phone, and magically, the Trump phone, and magically, people have not been getting their orders yet.
Keep that in mind. I got a story about that next. No, I was saying keep what Venkat just said in mind. That same sentiment, people not getting what they paid for. I got some, but I say real quick, and then I'll let Venkat go. Yeah. Earlier, when you jumped the gun earlier, you brought up like both sides need to stop playing games. You said that, Ricardo.
Yeah.
In the video I just played in the clip at the beginning of the clip, Dana Bash pretty much pressed Hakeem Jeffries. He asked him a pertinent question. He asked him. He said, "Well, if your goal was to not fund ICE. Again, ICE already funded. They just gonna give more money."
Facts.
Dana Bash told Hakeem Jeffries, well, if your goal was to not fund ICE, but then you turn around and you want to put something together to fund TSA, what was the point of saying that you didn't want to fund ICE in the first place? That's the only card that the Democrats got. I want people to understand that. The Democrats are not in power right now. The only leverage they have is how they legislate. That's it.
Yeah.
They got the advantage because Republicans don't have a supermajority. They just don't. They need Democratic votes to pass shit. Yes, unless it's simple majority shit, right? They just need them. That's a fact. So Dana Bash tried to press him to say, if you said bump Department of Homeland Security in the first place, now you want to turn around and say you want to fund TSA. What was the point? Hakeem Jeffries gave a kind of bullshit answer. I ain't gonna front. He gave a campaign answer is what he did. But ultimately, I understand what she's saying. That goes back to your point, Ricardo. You got to hold some type of principle somewhere. If TSA can't eat, they can't eat. That's what it is. We gonna hold a position that we don't want step 1, step 2, step 3 to happen, which is not funding ICE, if from a policy standpoint.
Yeah, but what's funny though is with these government shutdowns. And by the way, this is the third government shutdown in 6 months. Donald Trump has the record for the most shutdowns.
The most shutdown. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, at one point,
remember Schumer tacoed on the first one. He tacoed on the first one.
Yeah, yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yes, we forget, and we're not going to forget that too, Schumer and crew. We all know who you are. We won't forget.
Yeah, but I mean, so he is in the Hall of Infamy for the most shutdowns, Donald Trump. But he needs to be kept in check with this because why is it that we have a government shutdown, but Congress and the Senate and everybody that works for government is getting paid except for certain hand-selected parts of government. They need to change the bill. If this is going to happen, there needs to be a fund allocation that automatically allocates funds for the TSA or whatever part will be affected by a shutdown. There's got to be some kind of slush fund money to the side, or it's got to be, well, when the government shuts down, everybody doesn't get paid. But then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, well, not everybody in the Congress or the Senate has a lot of money, so the rich ones, they'll be fine. But like the ones that are just skating by, day to day, like AOC was one of them. She didn't have as much money as like these other senators and congressmen, so they'll probably get hurt too. But this doesn't seem like a problem that really should take much to solve. And because of the frequency of government shutdowns happening in the last few years, it's got to be addressed. And it'll be a failure if it is. The Democrats come into power, they gotta lay down a lot of things, and this has got to be one of those things that they've got to fix once and for all, because we can't keep having government shutdowns and people are not getting paid, and they're gonna get punished if they don't show up to work, which by itself, like I don't know how the hell they do it. I miss one paycheck and I'm ashed out right there. I'm just done. I miss one paycheck, it's over. So
Hey,
I don't know.
Vancat, I got a solution.
Go ahead.
You may not like it.
Oh boy.
You want to hear it?
Go ahead.
Privatize TSA.
Privatize TSA.
No.
Oh Lordy. Oh God. Oh no. Oh, you see this guy is a freaking capitalist. That's all these damn capitalists are.
We went through that in the early 90s before pre 9/11. It ain't gonna happen again. But then again, you just never know. You just never know, though. You just never know.
I'm assuming y'all don't like my idea.
No, we don't know. Not with the amount of money that they've been funding out of us. And not to interrupt you, Venkat. Again, this tax that you think I'm making up here, from the onset of TSA being formed, we, the American taxpayers, been charged, I believe it's up to $6 per ticket that you purchase. And from ever since, and mind you, I'm thinking TSA was formed close to like the 2000s. So if you add the 2000 now to 2026 that we're in, how do you explain to me that this whole entire government has been getting money from that time until now? It was to fund for this same reason that the TSA agents won't have to have, this slush money taken out, that they will be funded for whatever time period. Ask me how. Somehow there was a bill introduced, and it now funnels that money to go to like everywhere else. So it goes to like FEMA, the Department of Homeland Security, which it's already under that umbrella, everywhere else. But then now it's like, oops, the TSA money ran out, and we don't know how to get that money. Are you kidding me right now? This is what we're doing.
Yeah, because ICE got it. I'm telling you where the money at. ICE got it.
This is crazy. But then it begs the question, though. How are you then going back to them? And again, the American people keeps falling for this because we're so fickle and finicky. I don't understand how you don't explain to the American people, hey, the Department of Homeland Security umbrellas ICE, it umbrellas CBP, which is Customs and Border Patrol.
They got the money too.
And you have TSA, which is the lower totem pole of all the three, or whatever you want to call it. Or
they ain't got no money.
So how is it TSA? And TSA is the front lines here that deals with
nor FEMA. They ain't got no money either.
Well, see there, Ricardo. You said it right there, Ricardo. The TSA is a front line, right? It's the first line of defense, right? It's essential, correct? Now look at every business. Look at every business. Who's the people at the front line? The guy, the lady or the man at the front cash out checking to check you out or to put up the stuff on the wall. They get paid crumbs, right? And the jackass in the back that's the GM or the manager or the CEO or the whoever, right? The top billing guys, they get all the money. But the moment that guy in the front or that girl in the front that is doing that essential function stops doing it, the whole thing collapses. But we on purpose place a lower wage on a very significant and vital part of the business or operation. The TSA workers,
you're looking at it wrong. That's a black job. That's a black job. That's TSA is a black job.
The DEI.
TSA, the agents make on average $35,000 a year.
Facts.
That's check
crazy.
to check.
Facts.
That's check to check living.
I couldn't survive off that.
And Mad Mike is not even here because he used to work for TSA, so he would tell you like they don't really make that much money. It's usually the people that.
So how the hell are they holding out then? How are they holding out this long?
They're not. That's just the thing. They're just not holding up. And that's why you heard they said onslaught of what 500 people had to quit TSA if not more, because how are you going to pay your mortgage and bill and all that? And I literally asked one of them the same question. He's like, luckily for me, I didn't put all my eggs in one basket. I'm able to like get, my funds from such and such and blah, blah, blah. But for a regular person who just started out, if you're coming in to park your car, you have to pay for parking. You got to pay for food. You got to pay for gas to get to work. There's a whole bunch of
you don't get a voucher. Hold on, wait a minute. You just killed me right there, Ricardo. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
You mean to tell me if I'm a TSA agent,
I
don't get no type of parking validation?
No,
like
you do not. Nope.
Oh hell no.
Not everybody does.
That's why it's a black job.
No.
But here's the thing though, MD. You said it's a black job. I can't with you. The problem is it's based on seniority. So if you started out with TSA when it just literally got introduced in 2000, then more than likely you're gonna get like the parking voucher and all of that. But if you're just a new entry person that's coming in from like the past 2 years, maybe from 5 years ago, you're literally paying for your own parking. That's not free.
That's crazy.
That is not free. And that's where this whole thing where in Fort Lauderdale, it's so congested because a lot of times most of these people that are parking in the actual airport parking garage, you would think it's passengers, right? No, it's TSA agents because they need to get to work on time. They can't be late. The minute you're late, it scores against you. So they literally take up most, if not all, the parking spaces. And mind you, there's 3 parking garages in Fort Lauderdale. There's Palm, there's Hibiscus, and then there's Cypress. All parking garages are filled with TSA agents. Mind you, they could park for free in the employee lot, but the employee lot is way off the airport property. So you're talking about
they ain't doing that,
right? That's not gonna work. And if you know you're gonna have to start 3 a.m. in the morning, there's a hell no, you're not gonna make it on time. So it's a hell no.
Luckily at Hartsfield, we got a train station that link go directly into the terminal on the domestic side. So I mean, again, there's an old stereotype. They say they call Atlanta the place for black production because half the niggas in Atlanta work at the airport. That's a fact.
Facts.
My mom worked at the airport. My mama used to work for Delta. Hey, it is what it is. Everybody work at the airport.
True. It's so true.
And most of them niggas ain't got no car. They get on the train, and the train take you straight to work. So I mean, there's that. Them TSA agents in Atlanta airport, they ain't at work. You think a nigga finna go to work and not get paid? No, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. So I would probably say by next week, hell, TSA ICE will be TSA until they get this shit rectified. You know what I'm saying? Because ain't no nigga coming to work. Damn sure me. What you mean I don't get paid? Y'all call me what? Well, not Christian Known no more, but holler at me when y'all get this thing straight. I'll be at the house trying to figure out how to pay rent. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. I might have to sell a 3.5 or 2 while I'm at work just to make ends meet. You know what I'm saying? So there's that, man. So we'll see where this thing goes. The way it looks right now, the Senate ain't nowhere near like doing anything. So how long this gonna last, I don't know. But again, knows. John Kennedy gave you the play.
Yes,
he said, look, all we gotta do is agree to all the terms Democrats are asking for. All we gotta do is during reconciliation, pass the ICE money that way. We don't need Democrats to do that.
But you never needed the Democrats to do it in the first place. That's the thing that's killing me now. They have the majority in power. Why would you need the Democrats? But again, you do need them.
Well, because it's 60 votes. That's why they need that.
That's
Yeah.
well for the math, yes. But in terms of everything else, you don't really need them. But I'm interested to see how the GOP going into November is going to do their messaging, because you can't really blame the Democrats when they're not majority of the power. That's where it gets really interesting.
That don't stop them from doing that.
But true. But then who's going to hold them accountable for that? Because you can't lie all your way through. Because everybody's going to be like, "But wait a goddamn minute now. You motherfuckers were in power for you had the Senate, the House, and the presidency, and you mean to tell me you won't blame the Democrats for what?"
And the Supreme Court.
And the Supreme Court at that. And mind you, the Supreme Court is pushing back on everything that they're pushing for, which is it's gonna get even more interesting with the whole mailing ballot and all that stuff that they're trying to achieve for. Because if the conservative sets that are on power in SCOTUS right now is pushing really hard to tell them, hey, the law is the law, then it's sending a message, because even Trump is upset. He's getting ticked off at the fact that he can't get them swayed. You can't, again, if you're a constitutionalist, you can't get mad, Trump, Agent Orange, when they're doing their job. You can't get mad at them, even though you selected them. They have a job to do. So if you have a problem, and mind you, you had ample time because you went to school and you're one of the smartest presidents ever, you claim, you should know civics. But apparently you don't, because you're being spoon-fed by these morons that are sycophants that are telling you everything you want to hear. That's like a yes moment for you. No, it doesn't work like that. But I digress.
AMD, what do you think about this? This whole Trump got 100% of MAGA approval.
Again, no, it's not. It's not a lie. It's the sample size, and like CNN did the shit on purpose. Let's not get it twisted.
Yep.
CNN did that. Then this was shit like. See, people like Black Sun don't understand this, because Black Sun said, "Oh, look, you see, and y'all want me to believe mainstream news and CNN saying 100% of MAGA agree with the war." No, they did it for people like you, Black Sun, because it's a talking point to perpetuate an ongoing problem of how people perceive MAGA as just plain out stupid. That's what CNN did.
Yep.
CNN said, "Hey, look, Harry Enton, I'm Harry Enton, chief statistician of CNN or whatever. Look how dumb MAGA is. 100% of MAGA maniacs agree with the." That's what he did. It's a talking point. That's what news do. They create talking points. If you expect me to believe that I'm supposed to come here and say, "Look, I do believe you're dumb," as far as being a MAGA maniac, but I don't think you're that. I don't think the whole of MAGA maniac, especially when I know the history of the quote unquote America First. Come on, man. No, it was stupid. It was a small sample size of people, of dumbass MAGA maniacs that said, yeah, whatever Trump
But not
say,
only that, people that at one point may have identified as MAGA Trump has completely lost so many of them. So if they're asked that question, they're not going to be valid, because they're not going to say that they're MAGA. They're only looking for people that say that they're MAGA. And if you say that you're MAGA,
that's how polls work. Yeah,
you're right. So it's automatically going to, everybody that's participating that say they're MAGA, they're going to 100% agree with it. It's the people that don't agree with him anymore, whether they were or they weren't, they're not going to say they're MAGA, so they won't be even counted in the poll.
Well, I disagree with that though, Venkat. So again, I hate to keep beating a dead horse, but let's use Black Sun as an example. Black Sun is a self-proclaimed MAGA maniac. He don't agree with that war. Now Black Sun doesn't agree with the war in my eyes for nefarious reason, because I think you're an anarchist and a Negro Red and a undercover communist.
Not a Negro Red.
But MD though. But MD, it's not about that Black Sun doesn't agree with one or two aspects of Trump. It's about whether they approve of Trump. And you know yourself.
Well, that's a different story.
That's what they're saying. So yes, if you are identified as MAGA, you're 100% by default going to approve of Trump. If you didn't, you wouldn't say you're MAGA. That's what I'm saying.
I agree. That's correct. Because when you got a person that say and with everything that he know now,
Yes.
if Trump lied to his face again,
He still will vote.
and Republicans told you about their policy, he would still vote for Trump. So
Which is
in
crazy.
that you're right, Venkat, in that aspect. You're right.
But it's crazy though, because with all that we know now, including if you add the whole Epstein thing, which again, I mean, how do you still support that man after all the corroboration that we've heard,
Yeah.
including the FBI, which by the way, if you guys are not aware, for our viewers that are listening out there, they're actually doing trials for the FBI, the whole Epstein thing, but it's all being, the media's not going to report it because again, it's a distraction with this whole sending troops to the Middle East and our moves and everything else. It's literally being played that they're literally asking people what is going on with the Jane Doe 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's literally being swept. No one in the media is talking about this, but it's literally gonna not one soul. So it goes to prove my point that the media is only focusing on certain things right now that seems to get everyone's small attention span focused somewhere. But when it comes to the main things that are important, they want that distraction. That's not going to happen because there's always going to be that one person that reports it. But we're going to be all over the place, and it's going to be like this because MD predicted this. You know, political prophet amongst men said this last year. It's going to be scorched earth. Everything that you could think of as a distraction is going to come about before midterms because that's how they want it to be. It's gonna. He literally, if you remember well, no one was talking about Iran. I mean, we've heard strikes here and there where they knock down whatever. But lo and behold, here we go with this whole we're gonna go into Iran, and this it's a distraction because no one in the US is supporting this. No one. We don't want high gas prices. Are you kidding me right now? I literally spent $100 and something for gas yesterday, and I'm fuming mad about that because I'm like 3 weeks ago we weren't even spending this amount of money in gas. Are you kidding me right now? But no, the new playbook. And I'm not sure if you've seen this, MD and Venkat. Is them going on TV saying, oh, but you guys have to suffer through this just a little bit. Oh, this is just for our well-being. Oh, no.
Yeah, I forgot I forgot somebody just said that.
And I'm saying to myself, what the fuck are you guys like, are you kidding me right now? Like, if this was the Democrats in power, you guys would have been going on and on. But no, we have to suffer through this a little bit. No, you guys got to hang in there. Oh, no, this is just, it's you could bypass not getting coffee. It's like downplaying the small. No, we're not gonna do that. We didn't ask for this.
Was it Scott Bessent that said it? I'm trying to think. It may have been Scott Bessent that said it. He said on Fox News, he said, I don't mind paying
for such and such
50. He said, I'm gonna give you the exact quote. He said, I don't mind paying $50 more per week in energy for 50 more years of peace in the Middle East. That's what he said.
You must have
like I said,
lost your fucking mind.
I think it was Scott Bessent. It could have been somebody else. I think it was Scott Bessent though. Just
Nah,
hey, look,
I'm afraid to go to get gas, man. I've been avoiding it all week.
Oh no!
Oh man, you can't avoid it.
You can't avoid that.
I was supposed to go there before this show. I was like, I can't do it.
And you know what it feels like? It literally feels like you're pumping hot air into your car because it's literally just going on and on and on. You're like, wait a minute.
Hell, that's what Venkat car running on hot air right now. That just like a nigga riding down the street on fumes.
Lord.
Just like a nigga, boy.
Oh man.
Eventually the car's gonna stop. Eventually that car gonna stop, Venkat. And what you gonna do then?
$2 in the tank ain't gonna do it, Venkat. $2 ain't gonna do it.
For one.
Yeah. That ain't gonna do it, man. That ain't gonna do it. All right, let's get into the headlines before we get into the duck, and that'll be it for the night. So I got 5 headlines. We're gonna hit these rapid fire. So first and foremost, because Venkat brought it up, boom, Florida Democrat flips seat in special election in district that includes Trump Mar-a-Lago. Venkat, tell us all about it.
The ultimate middle finger.
Well, I mean, the Democrats have been winning like 30 plus special elections leading up to this November's midterms. So Trump is doing horribly. All his endorsed candidates are just losing all over the goddamn place.
Yes, yes.
Check this out. It said the district was previously represented by Mike Caruso, a Republican who resigned to become Palm Beach County's clerk. Caruso won the seat by 19 points in 2024. This is a plus 19 seat.
Yes,
Republican.
it is.
And it just flipped. That was just in 2024. That's amazing.
now the woman that won the seat, it's only for 7 months. She has to run again.
Emily Gregory.
Right. She has to run again this November. So it's just for the time period that she's just finishing out that time that she has to run again to be reelected.
Got you.
But I mean, that is a huge thing. I mean, you went all up in Mar-a-Lagoville, and you flipped a seat that was so deep, that 19-point plus win.
Facts.
You know, so to go into his backyard and take it, that lets you know the temperature of what's going on out there. Now, MAGA maniacs that I deal with, they all acting like it's nothing to see here. It's not a big deal. It's not this and that. But I mean, that's the tsunami is coming, not the wave. The tsunami is coming because all these statistics are pointing to a historical crush come November. So this is just another reminder. Trump's endorsements have been toxic as hell. It's like a death sentence for these guys. So I don't know why.
Who was the Negro she was running against? Who was that Negro?
I forgot his name, but yeah, he says he'll be back, and he's not worried. He's not worried about this loss. It's just a minor setback in November. I guess he's gonna try again, but it's not gonna happen, man. And that's the other thing too. That's a strategic pick right there for Trump, right? If I get a black guy on here, that may help protect me from a Democrat trying to take over.
Same protection in playbook.
And the thing is with the ballot too, they didn't really outright tell you who was a Republican and who was a Democrat. They didn't. It doesn't have that on there. So you got to do research to find out who it is you're voting for and what you're voting for. So another reason why, let's pick a black guy. That'll make it seem like it's a Democratic person, and then people will go with the black guy.
Those switcheroo, huh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The bait and switch. So, yeah, we took our time and we looked it up and we picked that. So I was happy as hell when I found that out. I wasn't as shocked because, again, it's over 30 special elections that Trump has lost. He's like 0-34 or something like that. Democrats have been killing these special elections across the country in deep red states. It's not just like a Democratic leaning state. It's like deep red states. And this was another example of how serious November can be.
Yeah. Ricardo, what you got on it?
I mean, for me, I'm kind of shocked, but I'm not kind of shocked because of the temperature of what I've been reading in the.
Oh, what just happened?
No, I'm still here. Sorry. So yeah, a lot of people. And I know VanCat deals with them because they're really up in that area a lot. The West Palm Beach and the Palm Beach area. But when I deal with the mega maniacs that are up there, the sycophants as I call them, it's not really everyone that is. It's just you have some people that fall in that category, and then there's some people that are like not. So when I ask them who they voted for, I don't even think they knew who this woman was, but they just wanted to vote for somebody that was different. So it was one of those things where I think to test the waters, I think she's gonna have to. And not to say it's gonna be an easy mark for her going forward into November. She has a lot of work to do, but if she holds still in terms of getting her name out there and people know who she is and what she's doing in terms of either improving and whatnot, it wouldn't shock me or surprise me if she holds on to the seat, because a lot of times you do need an opposition, and I think she could be up there in terms of doing the media play where he's going to be very combative, because to have a Democrat actually win in your backyard says a lot. So it's one of those things where I think she's somebody we all have to watch and take a look at in terms of how the playbook is going to work with her being in his backyard and him not liking the Democrats so much, and the diatribe that he goes on and on about with the Democrats, even though he himself is a Democrat by his own merits, but we'll leave that for another time and space. But it's very fascinating to just see her come in because I didn't even know who she was. Did you know who she was, Venkat, when she came into the whole winning streak thing here? Because I was like, I didn't even know who she was.
No, it's hard to keep track of all these people, but no.
But because I was like, who the hell is she? Where did she come from? Was it in politics for a long time? I had no idea. But
that wasn't the only thing. There was a guy that guy that won as well for the Democratic Party as well. So that's good too.
And just to reiterate as well, where Venkat brought up another valid point. Almost all the black candidates that are mega, strong mega
Oh yeah. They bite.
They all
dust,
fail. They
all
biting
dust.
So it goes to prove the point that this whole we're gonna shuck and jive and run to get the black votes, and it doesn't work anymore. Again, we're not a monolith group. I don't know why they keep going for the same playbook when it doesn't work anymore. It's ridiculous. It's tiring now. I mean, they need a new strategy. Let's do something different, but they're not going to do that because again, they always fall for the same rhetoric where they think it works because it's worked in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's not the same anymore, and you got to find ways to interest, the main significant voter blocks, and it proves my point. I believe it was. Don't quote me. I think it was 8 of them that lost, if I'm not mistaken. I got to go look it up again because I saw it today, and it's like I think it was.
I actually think it's more than 8, to be honest, because. You just had the primaries up in Illinois where it was a whole bunch of nigga Republicans that lost. So I think it's more than 8. It was 2 of them actually in Illinois that lost, like bad, like real bad.
And I think the media was saying that's not a good thing for him because if you're trying to get the black caucus or the votes for it's proving the point that you're not really doing that much for them to be interested in voting for your candidates. So you're really a terrible person. If I was somebody who's trying to run, I wouldn't need Trump's endorsement, to be honest. It doesn't work. It really doesn't. It bodes well against you. So if I was some of these people, don't even seem to be aligned with Agent Orange. It's not going to help you. It's not a good look. It's not a good look, man. Just run independently, run by yourself. And then when the time comes, if you need to do a photo op, then all means go ahead and stand beside the man. But he is like your death watch. He's not gonna help you win votes. So I wouldn't even bother with Agent Orange endorsement. Just to go it alone, folks. I hate to say it.
Okay, all right. Let's go. Let's get to the next topic here. And we didn't talk about that. I didn't even see it in what's called. Robert Mueller died last week at the age of 81. He was impactful in the Obama and everybody knows the Mueller report. It should have been the death blow to Trump. It should have been.
Should have.
But it wasn't. I always tell people, go read the book or listen to it, however you want to do it. The Deep State. It goes into stark detail about everything start to finish as it pertains to one Mueller entered the scene as special counsel and did his entire report and the bullshit Trump that was on. And let me read this excerpt real quick. Everybody knows it, but we didn't cover it or anything. We're going to cover it now. So, of course, Robert Mueller III dies at 81. He rebuilt FBI and led Trump inquiry. Let me scroll down here. Now, y'all can't see it, but I'm going to just read what Trump said. Everybody knows what Trump said. Let me find it.
That's scumbag.
You got to be a scumbag, bro. You got to be a scumbag. I'm about to find it, though. We know the whole witch hunt and all of that. He was from Charlottesville, and he did a whole expose about Charlotte. That was complete detached from Trump or anything, but he did it. Let me get the exact quote of Trump.
What's lost on this is that Robert Mueller is a friggin' Republican his damn self.
Yes, he is.
So I mean, just like Merrick Garland,
right? Yeah, go ahead.
Just like Merrick Garland was, and you wonder why there's not more teeth in
James Comey is a Republican.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
All of them was Republicans, but they were principled Republicans.
And we're under Bush at one point too. So I don't understand how the party sits there and make this man badmouth and speak about somebody that was in the caliber of who Mueller was, and yet I've yet to see like a Lindsey Graham or one of them stand up and say, "Hey, man, like that's not cool. What you said, it's very disparate." But they're not gonna do it. They all ass kissing and you're all doing all this nonsense that make no sense. But history will tell the tale when it's all said and done. Because I just find it shocking that this man said what he said and no one held him accountable for it. Not one of them. Not one of the sycophants.
So it says Mr. Trump remained unforgiving of Mr. Mueller's investigation even after Mr. Mueller's death. On learning of it on Saturday, the president posted on Truth Social, quote, "Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people."
Wow.
Oh, boy. First of all, he's not innocent. It's 34 count felon.
Exactly.
This is insane. Man. I mean, it's just amazing because, when Trump died, like a few weeks, they're going to be like, "Oh, how can you say these disgusting things? He's a former president. He's a this." This guy trolled McCain. He messed with all these people, handicapped people. He just messing with. I mean, like, there's no bar low enough for this guy. So the day he died, man, it's going to be a huge party.
Yeah. All right. Let me get into this story. I think this is and I touched on it on one of my lives this week. Mm-hmm. This is from the Latin Times. It says report calls Trump immigration freeze largest fraud in history, citing over $1 billion in fees for unprocessed applications.
Wow.
The report estimates that roughly 2 million immigration benefit applications are currently frozen worldwide, with more than half tied to applicants from Cuba, Venezuela, and Haiti.
Right.
Now check this out.
Profile.
Now check this out. It's a certain part in here. So it says a new analysis from the Cato Institute. The Cato Institute ain't some left-wing think tank. No shit like that. The Cato Institute is technically a libertarian think tank. It says a new analysis from the Cato Institute says Trump administration immigration policies have left more than 1 million applications unprocessed. Now I'm gonna get to you first, Ricardo, because I want you to put yourself in these people's shoes. Collecting over $1 billion in fees, a practice that reports authors describe as the largest fraud in the history of the United States immigration system. The report estimates that roughly 2 million immigration benefit applications are currently frozen worldwide, with more than half tied to applicants from Cuba, Venezuela, Haiti. These cases span a wide range of benefits, including work visas, green cards that are tied to sponsorships for spouses, asylum claims that, that's a given, naturalization petitions, and temporary visas. So, Ricardo, you mean to tell me you went through all the right processes to become a citizen through naturalization in this country? You paid
everything by the book.
And they just sitting on your application, not giving a damn. You done paid your money.
You
done paid your money.
Yes,
which ain't cheap.
It's not cheap at all. It's actually about, I think it's when I did mines, because we didn't add in inflation at the time I did mines, it was about 900. It was, and I literally got in at the time. I should have paid about $800, I think. It went to 900 and something. So I literally, in the end, paid $1,200 to get my whole entire thing done to become a citizen. It was a lie. It's not cheap, and I'm sure it's more expensive now than it was at the time I did mines.
Easily.
But it's crazy because what this administration is doing, it's literally playing with not only people's emotional state, but people's financial state as well. It's not just the typical countries that you think of, like the Latin American countries. It's even Canada, because I had an article where this one lady, and I'm assuming she thought that, I met somebody in Texas and I'm a Canadian and I have a kid with him and they got married with him. It's going to be not topsy-turvy. It's going to be top gravy for me and I'll be good. No, they got her locked up with the kid that she had with this guy in Texas in some, I can't remember which facility. It's one of those facilities that they're talking a lot about in general. And she was saying that it's deplorable, the conditions that you have to go through, but she literally paid her money to go through the whole thing correctly. And she had, I think it's a working permit, I believe. And ICE told her no. They said, you know, doesn't stand. It doesn't have any jurisdiction. Mind you, that's not correct because if we're going by the law. She's actually here on purpose, one, and she's able to work, which she explained to them repeatedly. But they want her to self-deport herself, and they're doing everything deplorable to force you to leave. So in hindsight, what are they really doing that's causing this? And again, it's not fair. If an actual person is going through the correct stage, which they've always complained about, mind you, am I correct, MD and Venkat? They complain and say they don't want any illegals here. When people go through the proper channels of doing the correct thing, and you sit there and hold on to the paperwork, not only hold on to the paperwork, it's stressful. It's a lot when you have somebody who's like literally, if they work at, say, I don't know, the airport, or they work at the port, or wherever. If you don't have the proper paperwork and that time runs out for you to actually like get it done, you won't be able to work. So you're literally taking people's money, like taking food out of their out of their mouths. You can't, like, I don't understand how they're that heartless and cruel to be doing stuff like this, but it doesn't surprise me because.
And Ricardo, let me say real quick, and I'm gonna let you finish.
Yeah,
that's the point that I was trying to make in my live. Let's say you done went through all the proper channels, you done paid your money, all this. Let's say you're a student, whatever the situation may be.
Whatever it is, correct.
You done paid your damn money. They select, because it's selective, because you see the countries, Cuba. You see we got a bad relationship. We want to basically steal that country. Venezuela, we already done stole their oil. and Haiti, hell, that for obvious reasons, nigga land. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You sitting on my paperwork to renew. Let's say I'm a student to renew my H-1B or whatever the situation. Now my shit done ran out. Now technically I'm illegal.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
And they're forcing you to.
But you got my money though.
Yeah. So at this point, so let me ask the question: what do they do at this point? Do they then complain to the Supreme Court? Who do they go to if this is where it's
you can't complain to nobody while you're in CCOT. You can't complain to nobody when your ass in the ICE facility some damn well.
Exactly. So you're in limbo. You're literally in limbo the whole time.
That's horrible. That's horrible.
You're literally in limbo, and this is unfair. You know, what happens to the due process here, where everybody does the correct thing, but yet you have people that are making up their own rules and laws. This doesn't make sense. This is literally what Kamala was like saying when she was running. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be happening, and who's going to be holding them accountable? Who is?
Yep.
Venkat, you got anything on this one?
No, I mean, Ricardo hit that. I can't even touch it.
Yeah, cool. Now, hey, this is my Man Talk Monday special right here. Boom, check this one out. This from CBS News. Georgia woman charged in abortion case, granted bond as questions grow over murder charge. I don't know if y'all heard about it. This done shocked the nation right here. It says a Georgia woman faces a rare murder charge tied to an alleged abortion.
That's crazy.
Has been granted bond.
That's crazy.
Alexia Moore, 31, was granted bond Monday by a judge in Camden County. That's in southeast Georgia by Savannah.
This is loony.
According to the Georgia Public Defender Council. The court, now check this out. The court set bond at $1 on the malice murder charge and $2,000 total for 2 drug-related charges. Prosecutors agreed Moore was entitled to a bond and to the amount she could reasonably pay. The public defender's office said Moore had been jailed since early March after police accused her of taking pills to end a pregnancy in violation of Georgia law, which bans most abortions after 6 weeks. That's the heartbeat bill that we got here in Georgia. After 6 weeks, that's it.
It's trash.
They say authorities allege Moore was about 22 to 24 weeks pregnant when she went to a hospital in late December reporting abdominal pain. According to an arrest warrant, she told medical staff she had taken misoprostol, a drug commonly used in medication abortions, along with oxycodone. So she basically got the misoprostol, I don't know, off the street somewhere. It's akin to Plan B and shit like that, which is illegal now in Georgia. After a certain amount of time. You know, you could take it morning after all of that, but after 6 weeks, you're no longer allowed to take it. Investigators said the fetus was delivered alive and survived for about an hour. 24 weeks pregnant. And they induced her into giving birth. Like, why would
This
we
sounds
gonna
like
talk about
Game
it?
of Thrones, man. This sounds like episode of Game of Thrones.
So again,
Shame.
let me get to the part where I want to. Well, I don't think it's in this. It's not. Basically, the judge gave her a $1 bond because even the judge say, like, this is stupid.
It's
like,
ridiculous.
what are we doing? So that's your Man Talk Monday special. Again, abortion. We know a lot of southern states after Roe v. Wade immediately like force fed legislation down everybody's throat when it came to heartbeat bills and anti-abortion legislation, so on and so forth. This is one of the first cases we've seen in the nation where prosecutors in the state are actually taking charges to heart murder. Go ahead, Venkat.
You said it. You said it. Force feed. This is why I call the Republican Party the anti-freedom party, the anti-American party, because this is just insane. This feels like Handmaid's Tale. This is so dystopian and ridiculous. And I mean, between ICE having everyone under siege at the airport and everywhere else they go, to then this happening with women, which, by the way, that Women for Trump sign look real stupid right about now. This is not the only person. This is not going to be the last person. There's a white woman, Republican, who voted for Trump all these times, all 3 times, and she got pregnant after Roe versus Wade.
I remember her. I know you're
right. And she had a real serious health issue where she could die. They didn't want to hear that. I think she was in Texas with that one. So they don't want to hear that at all. And that's the thing. Like, you're touting these policies that are destroying and wrecking the lives of people. But as long as
remember, Venkat, a few months back, we just had the case here in Georgia again, and I think we talked about it. The lady that was brain dead, and they made her stay in the damn hospital dead, basically.
Yes.
Just to chastise the baby and allow the baby to be birthed. That's insanity.
It is. It is crazy. And there's no consideration for the woman itself. It's like if the woman gonna possibly die, then that's the risk we got to take. This is just ridiculous, man. And women put themselves in this because a lot of the women out there, white women, they undermine themselves voting against their own self-interest. Now, their dumbasses may not have been pregnant at the time, but just like that one white woman that in Texas that then got caught up in this whole thing and her life was on the line. She said she could have died easily. That's just crazy. It's not a problem until it becomes your problem. But by then it's too late because the problem is way bigger now. So it's just funny how they're able to feel good about themselves, passing these problems on to others, but eventually it comes back to your door. So it's just an insanity, crazy pills that we're taking right now in these times. I just don't understand this.
Ricardo, you got anything else on this one?
No, it's just hypocrisy at its finest. So it doesn't surprise me, but it doesn't. Again, why would you vote against your own best interests when you go through the same nonsense? It's crazy to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, I agree. And like I said, a lot of people are torn between how they should feel about abortion, and I get it. But that's not something that the federal government should have a say in, like
not at all. I mean, and the Republican Party of all 3 parties is the one pushing this nonsense.
So, I get it, but we saw when the whole Roe v. Wade situation happened, all these states do something reactionary, and they didn't breathe in, breathe out. They didn't take the factors in consideration, and now we got situations like this. Dumbassness, right? And you know, all because of one person, man, whose name is Trump. So the last headline we got, I found this one very interesting. So from Mississippi Today, Ku Klux Klan items are found as Mississippi Department of Public Safety packs to move. Now this is an interesting story. I want to read some of this. It says, Mississippi Department of Public Safety officials stumbled across a cache of Ku Klux Klan materials while cleaning out a closet to move to the department's new headquarters. Inside a small blue suitcase, they found a handbook for the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, the most violent white supremacist group in the 1960s. Now, this is history. It's history, which carried out at least 10 killings. Officials also found Klan charters, a Klan roll, KKK recruitment materials, propaganda, meeting notes, ledgers, and a list of members who paid or didn't pay their dues. One person said, if only that robe could talk. George Mulvaney, who tells his journey from his life as a Klansman to life in prison to life as an environmental regulator. So hold on, wait a minute. You went from being in the Klan to being in prison, and now you're a damn tree hugger. Like how you do that? Now you're a top executive, help cleaning up with a cleaning company. It said in his memoir, Cup Ups. Yeah, go ahead, Van Cat. What was you about to say?
But this is the stuff I always talk about here, where, you know, all these black people and some white people, but I mainly focus on black people that want to pretend that these times didn't exist. They want to pretend that, well, today is different. They want to pretend that people that are living and breathing right now wasn't participating or actively thinking that way or continue to be that way. Which is racist.
Before you continue, I just want to put some context on it. Basically, the stuff that they found was stuff from the 1960s that had never been archived, like ever. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, it was for personal use. It was actually, it wasn't to be looked upon. It was for actual personal use, and it just was forgotten or left behind, which is even worse. That means it was actually used.
Right. So what you're saying? Hold on,
artifacts.
So what you're saying is the guy. So let's say it's the 1960s. The guy goes into the office, and you know he got his suitcase in there. He got his stuff for work in there, and then he got his stuff for after work. His Klan robe and some paraphernalia to pass out to the local white community about the Ku Klux Klan.
Exactly. It's business as usual, and we want to pretend that today in the now, those were so long ago. Stop bringing up old stuff, Blackie. You're crazy. Everything is about race with you guys. Nigga, everything is about race because of you crackers. This is never going away. And the fact that they won't pay reparations is one indication of why. They don't want to friggin' recognize slavery. They don't want to talk about those history. They want to whitewash it. They want to do all these things. That doesn't sound like a country that is recognizing the error of their ways and wanted to do better going forward. That seemed like, no, we still like that, but we just got to keep it on the down low. You know, so every time a black person is like, I don't want to hear nothing about me. I don't want to hear. I question that type of thinking, because just because you weren't burdened with it on a heavy way, like people back in the days in the 1930s or the 1800s, just because you didn't see it on that level, it's still here. There's places in Florida that are still named after racist ass situations that still exist. Streets, buildings, they're still named what they're named, and they have racist ties. That stuff is not gone. It's still here.
I'm still tripping on what you said, Van Cat. So essentially, if we gonna look at it in this context, let's just come up with a scenario.
Yep.
Let's say it's 1962. I don't know. Just pick a date.
Yep.
Dude walked out the house and said, "Don't wait up, honey. I got a Klan meeting tonight. I'm gonna just take my stuff with me to work."
Yep. That's exactly what this is, man. It's a way of living. That's that life. And he was really about it. But over the time, they just like, oh, he forgot his stuff in the corner or whatever. And now we're finding it these years later. Man, this stuff is real, man. These crackers is crazy. It's embedded. I mean, who hangs a person and makes a freaking postcard out of it? Burned bodies of black slaves. I mean, come on, man. They're making postcards out of that. That's a sick level of depravity. Yeah.
Ricardo, you got anything?
I'm just fascinated that they even were able to find all that memorabilia from the largest non, what do you call it? The largest non terrorist group this country has ever.
Domestic terrorist.
Domestic terrorist.
And not on the most violent. We talk. Remember, folks, this is Mississippi.
Yes.
It's Mississippi we talk about.
Right. Of all places, Mississippi. And I don't understand.
See, but MD, what you saying right there, this Mississippi, like there's actual people walking around right now that don't get the context of what you mean by it. This is what we're dealing with.
All they got to do is go down. Bro, trust me, you go to Mississippi, you'll understand it.
Yes, it's one.
You'll understand.
That place is not. I think it's still a sundown state, if I'm not mistaken. But I digress.
I don't give a damn about all that. You come talking that crazy shit to me, I'm gonna shoot you in your ass.
Right.
I mean, it's a different breed, but again, it still exists. Let's not get it twisted. It still exists to this day.
And that's what Venkat is trying to state, that there's a lot of people now, included in our community, in the black community, that says, "Oh, but that was so long ago. We'll pass. Like, what are you talking about? Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, you really I mean, if you said move past, the '60s wasn't that long ago. The '70s wasn't that long ago. I think the last lynching that was done was probably close to the '90s, and we still have them random.
Yeah, it was the '90s. Matter of fact, they had a movie about it. What was that movie where they drugged the guy with the truck? Yes. That happened in the '90s, in the early '90s.
I remember that too.
In Mississippi.
It was not that long ago. So I mean, this whole notion that we should move past and get on with our lives. No, we can't forget these things, especially in Mississippi. That you have a random briefcase that's in where did you say it was found in, MD? Which department?
In the public safety department, which is basically that'll be akin to like your state police department.
Right. So it goes to show you how deeply rooted they were in. Like they were in every crevice of every part. And then who do you trust? Like at that point, I would be like, okay, so this was in the safety department, whatever department and whatnot. But then it makes you think though, how really, and it states it all over in history as well. You couldn't trust nobody, because who's to say you're not talking to somebody in the same department that, and then you have these judges, you have these police officers, you have almost every one of them are rooted.
All of them in the Klan. All of them. Hell, we done seen where the sheriff the sheriff, the damn Cyclops Grand Master of the Klan.
All of them are connected. They're all connected.
What they call that shit? Grand Wizard.
There you go. Yeah. There you go. So, I mean, it's, and to this very day, I still understand how the Klan has never been classified as a dangerous domestic terrorist group. They refuse to classify them. I don't know why, how much power they have.
Oh, you know why.
Yeah. What's that HBO Watchmen? You remember the series Watchmen?
Yes. That was a good show.
And the sheriff was the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. The sheriff of the town. They actually filmed Watchmen where I grew up in downtown Decatur. But yeah, the setting was Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the sheriff of the town was the damn Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan. That was common, because, like I said, the Ku Klux Klan was no more than Married with Children, No Ma'am, after club, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And all of their ass get off of work and they put their hoods on. They sit around, drink beer, and talk about niggas and killing niggas and Jews. That's what they did.
That's all they did.
It was extracurricular activity.
Wow.
That's it.
And then they do what they do in the middle of the night, and they show up the next day and do the same thing, and then go back out and do it again. Like to me, it's crazy. Just the notion that they were able to get away with so much, even though a lot of times there's been snitches in the community that will say, "Hey, I believe Bernard and whatever his name is over there. I believe they're part of the clan." Did they care? No, because every time there was they'd be placed in accountability of a trial or something, they always got off. So it shows you how powerful they were, and yet the country still refused to classify them as a domestic terrorist group. But everybody else gets to be classified as something. The Black Panther Party,
like the Black Panthers,
the Black Panther, everybody else
handing out food to kids.
Well, I mean, you had certain sects of government that did. Like I said, after Reconstruction and all that, we had the KKK Act and all that shit. I mean, we had it. The problem was enforcing it. You know what I'm saying? That was the problem. So, there's that. And then once the North left, like that was it. That was it.
Yeah,
Jim Crow, baby. You know what I'm saying? So, there's that. So, you got anything else on that, Ricardo or Venkat?
No, that's it.
Okay, you know what time it is then. The time has come, and it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's definitely been a while. We haven't seen the duck in quite some time. Like I said, we all been working and whatnot, doing what we had to do, and I think we finally got a winning schedule together. I think Wednesdays will work out pretty good because, like I said, I was done pretty early today, like a lot early. So it looked like we can get the gang all here together, except for Mike. We can get them all here together on Wednesday. So that being said, the duck is on a new schedule as well. So the duck said, I've been waiting so long. I think I'm gonna eat for 2 tonight. Is what he said. So with that being said, 2 birds, 1 stone, man. So hey, listen. With that being said, I present to you the lame duck of the week, number 11 and number 12.
Yeah.
I want you to listen to me. I'm going to say this again. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
Now a story leaked by him to CNN is appearing now. Let me reassure you, the things that you will see in that story, those are not the words of Mark Robinson.
We finally beat Medicaid.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
He's right, he did beat Medicaid, beat it to death.
Duck went like a dove. Feathers fly in the air. Waddle in here, waddle in. Y'all's a duck, yeah, who's a duck? Y'all's a duck, look like a dove.
Back here in the U.S., the Senate has now confirmed another of President Donald Trump's cabinet picks. South Dakota Republican Governor Kristi Noem was confirmed in a 59-34 vote as the new Secretary of Homeland Security. Noem will now be in charge of executing one of President Trump's biggest priorities for his second term, immigration. She has expressed support as well for ending birthright citizenship, something Trump is trying to do through executive action.
I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump, for securing our border and putting America first. Let me deliver a message from President Trump to the world. If you are considering entering America illegally, don't even think about it. Let me be clear. If you come to our country and you break our laws, we will hunt you down. Criminals are not welcome in the United States. For too long, weak leadership has left our borders wide open, flooding our communities with drugs, human trafficking, and violent criminals. Well, those days are over. Under President Trump, we are defending American families and restoring their safety. If you try to enter illegally, you will be caught, you will be removed, and you will never return. Follow the law, and you'll find opportunity. If you break it, you'll find consequences. Strong borders mean a stronger America. President Trump is making America safe again.
Here at CCOT today and visiting this facility. And first of all, I want to thank El Salvador and their president for their partnership with the United States of America to bring our terrorists here and to incarcerate them and have consequences for the violence that they have perpetuated in our communities. I also want everybody to know, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face. First of all, do not come to our country illegally. You will be removed and you will be prosecuted. But know that this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
So I want to say thank you to every single person that has been able to do this. Also, I want to talk specifically to the rioters and to the politicians in Los Angeles.
The fact of the matter is, a half a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to talk about specifically how many of our ICE agents have been doxxed for doing their duty.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism. What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy over 2,000 more officers to the Minneapolis area. And in the last 2 days, we've arrested hundreds and hundreds of dangerous criminals, not just fraudsters who stole from the American people billions of dollars and put it in their pockets and enriched their friends from overseas and themselves, but also individuals who committed acts of murder and rape and trafficking and drug exploitation and child exploitation.
So, Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So, reclaiming
and
my
is
time,
an advisor
Secretary, it is
and has
okay for
no,
you to be
no
offended
authority
by
to
the
be
question.
making any
It is
decisions.
okay for you to
has
be
no
offended
authority
by the
to
question.
be making
But it
decisions
is also
and
a
putting
real
up your
question.
position. So what I would say
And
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what we do at the
question
Department of Homeland
clearly
Security every single
and without
day,
any hesitation.
every single day is to protect
If
this
someone
country
is
and
asking
to make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
As garbage,
because it is not about
it is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
It is
that up.
about your
So
judgment.
that kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can
to
hear myself.
recognize-
Time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but it'd be nice if you would let her respond.
I will. I want to let you know it is about your judgment and decision-making. It is about the 260,000 employees that work under you that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. It is about conflict of interest. It is about a national security risk. Department of Homeland Security was created right after 9/11 to protect the homeland. And DHS has circulated an internal bulletin to law enforcement partners warning that the conflict of the war we're in could inspire lone actors or small-scale cyber activity inside the United States, according to a memo obtained by ABC News. So American lives are at risk. The people who work for you are at risk. And they want to know that the person at the top, you, are making decisions clearly, without any sort of cloudiness, and that they're your decisions because you're the secretary who was confirmed. That's what this is about. Saving the lives of Americans and not costing them millions of dollars, and not having a secretary who's compromised in her decision-making.
She's fired. This is huge news as we are getting this, that Trump is replacing Kristi Noem.
The president, as he likes to do, just
made the announcement himself via Truth Social.
There was reports of frustration inside the White House.
Noem had reportedly been on shaky ground for months, but embarrassing blow-ups yesterday at a hearing on Capitol Hill reportedly pushed President Trump over the edge.
Have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
A Democrat congresswoman pressed Noem about rumors that she's having a torrid affair with her top aide, Corey Lewandowski, Trump's former campaign manager.
I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
If someone is asking
make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate, that should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Noem arrived with her husband of 34 years, Brian. He sat right behind her, but left before those awkward questions about Lewandowski. But he was there for this exchange.
When your special blanket, your blankie, was left on one of the government jets, your special government employee, Corey Lewandowski, chivalrously stepped forward to fire the pilot.
I got you a new Coast Guard blankie, the one you lost. Okay, so this is for you.
Another Democrat also got personal. Notice his button, Justice for Cricket. So who's Cricket? He's the puppy Noem says she shot dead because he was untrainable.
You go off and you attack conservative women, and you say that we're either stupid
I haven't
or
said
we're
anything.
sluts.
According to reports, the president was watching and Noem's fate was sealed.
So let's start off with that one. That's number 11, Kristi Noem, folks. She got the boot. Her fate was sealed. The duck took to claim the soul of Kristi Noem. After it was revealed, she was doing the hanky-panky with Corey Lewandowski, which according to reports, she's been doing for a long time. A very, very long time. So, Venkat, what's your thoughts, man? Kristi Noem.
Well, rightfully, a dark hair. This is a scum bucket, scum sucking pig right here. I mean, not only is her politics just deplorable, but I mean, come on, man. She's having affairs and whatnot. She's having a bedroom being
on
built
the jet, Mile High Club.
I mean, how bold can this get? I mean, it's crazy. And spending money left and right for stupid vanity commercials and to raise her profile. Because before the 2024 election season, nobody ever heard of this bitch. Not even a little bit. And now everybody knows her. So even after the disaster that is the Trump administration and all the Trump stink that a lot of these people that are affiliated with Trump, once they get out, they can't get that Trump stink off. So I wonder what kind of job she's going to be able to get to support herself. I wonder if the husband is still going to stay married to her or are they getting a divorce? But she's just gutter trash. And she used the Super Bowl as another way to get her ego inflated, talking about ICE agents are going to be all over the Super Bowl. Not one damn nigga was there. Not one damn ICE agent was there. So she always trying to instill fear, always trying to intimidate people, but nobody's afraid of your monkey ass. She looked deformed and ridiculous. If you see the way she really looks, is way different than what she looks like now.
You saw in the picture, in the Inside Edition clip, they showed a picture with her and Corey Lewandowski. She didn't look nothing like that. Now she got the Mar-a-Lago face.
Right, the Mar-a-Lago face is what they call it. Yep, that's what they call it. Yeah, so she just an atrocious piece of trash bag ass human, and rightfully number 11, lame duck.
Ricardo, what you got on Kristi Noem, man? The canine killer, Kristi Noem.
I mean, if killing puppies wasn't good enough, now she's out here dry humping other people's husbands. This is just ridiculous. I mean, I expect better, but not with the horny crew that is the GOP, the party of family values. They hump every damn thing that's walking around now. I mean, curiosity killed the kitty at some point. So, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. It's just one of those things where even if she had just denied it when it flat out was asked, She could have been, she could have walked away scot-free. It's just the doubling down of just doing a whole bunch of babbling of nonsense. They ask you a question, are you sleeping? And funny enough, didn't it sounded like when she said it, like when they were asking Bill Clinton the same question, like, did you
Yep.
have sexual relations? It was just like, okay, you could just say yes or no. It was like, oh, and then I don't understand why that girl, just answer the question. But then
And she
when
was on the oath though, so
oh,
that was a lot more. She was on the oath at that point. So if she gets caught, because it's provable. It's
it
provable at
is.
some point.
And then not only that, what the lady was saying when she was asking her, grilling her, is absolutely right. You're in command, you're in control, and if it needs be, there's a lot of things that's going to be occurring now due to this so-called not asking Congress about bombing and a country that you had no reason to be bombing just because another one told you to. You could create another issue of domestic terrorism here, and you're putting the likelihood of people's lives at risk by you doing all of this nonsense. But the fact that it's all a leadership command, and you are sleeping with somebody that you're not supposed to be sleeping with, and you can't even flat out deny it, is a problem. It's a huge issue, and that's not to say millions of people, on a daily basis, don't sleep with their coworkers. And what they do in their downtime is their business, because it
Yeah,
is
but
what it is.
Ricardo, she uniquely looked like she carrying herpes right now. She looked. I mean, that's a hell of a chance to take.
Listen, Vanka, what's going on between her and her foot and her legs and whatever body part that she has, it's her business. She has a right to be sexually fluid if she chooses to. The problem that we all have with Noam is that besides you killing the dog to prove a point that I don't know if she was trying to say she was manly or she has feminine traits. No one's gonna make her live that down. Even South Park got that on the perfect notch where they're like she's shooting the dogs and puppies and all that. I don't know why she even brought it up to begin with, but that was just stupid and dumb. But I guess it's to make her look tough. Girl, no one wants a tough woman. We all want a soft, feminine woman. That's all we go for. So that whole idea of you trying to be tough for the MAGA crowd, I don't know what that did, but I guess there's somebody out there getting the hots for you shooting puppies. That's a cute thing for you to do. But I digress. The whole thing with her, though, with Norm, and I've even when she did the whole, I'm gonna give out the $10,000 checks to the TSA agent because he didn't call out. I don't know if she's like trying to thread the waters because I don't think she was fired. I don't think she was MD. I think she was just repositioned somewhere else because she's up there with Trump.
Let me speak on that. So apparently, Trump did this thing with I forget what it's called, like the Coalition of the Americas
or whatever
some shit like that, where it was all. You remember Trump a couple of weeks ago? He had this meeting with all the leadership of the Americas. You had Milei of Argentina was there, Bukele, El Salvador, all the Mexican president, she was there, Sheinbaum, all of the people, all of the leadership of the Americas was there. Apparently, she's supposed to be like a director of that, which is symbolic at best. It really ain't no job.
No,
the shit is made up. But to your point, Ricardo, yes, it's been reported that it was bad blood. A couple of weeks before she got fired, it was saying that she got into an argument with Stephen Miller about some shit.
So
it's been bad blood. And going back to Corey Lewandowski been a womanizer. You remember in the 2020 campaign, he was the campaign director of the 2020 campaign. It was saying back then that he was fooling around with some lady on the campaign staff at that time. So he been on this shit. Then when Noam hit the scene, he said, "Hey, look, baby, don't worry about it. I'm gonna get you your Mar-a-Lago fare. I'm gonna make you a bad bitch." And you know what I'm saying? That's what he said. And ever since then, every time you see Chrissy Noam, somewhere lurking has been Corey Lewandowski. So that's just what it is. Remember when Tom Homan took over, he took the shot. Y'all remember? He said, "Oh, I ain't here for photo ops." He was taking a direct shot at Chrissy Noam.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
so they've been on our ass for a long time.
Yeah, it's crazy though. I mean, it's one of those things though. But then they say absolute power corrupts absolutely. So to me, it doesn't surprise me, but I expected better from her. Seeing that we've known Noam for a long time, but we just didn't know she was going to stoop to this level of ass kissing to the Agent Orange. But it is what it is. It's one of those things where you fall from grace. Remember the Spitzers and whoever was before her. We all said the same thing. They're all gonna eventually come out of this, writing a book or getting some kind of major deal to say, "Oh, I had no idea at the time when I worked for Trump that he was gonna be this way," and they're gonna go on this whole kumbaya tour that they usually do. For me, I hope the people remember the kind of things that they all did, including what Noam said, what she's done, whatever book she's written, she's done. They all need to be accountable. But to me, she does deserve the lame duck for one reason. You can't hold a truth if you can't hold a lie and you work for one of the lyingest presidents we've ever had of all time. There's something wrong there. Even if you're under oath, there's where you can circumnavigate without answering the question. But the fact that you doubled down by babbling about much to do about nothing says a whole lot about you, Noam. I mean, again, whatever you do sexual proclivity wise is none of our business. We don't care. But like we said to Bill Clinton when he was in office, once you are in a power position like you were, you do hold we hold you a certain to a certain extent. The caliber that we hold for you is up there high. I mean, you were in charge of what, the Department of Homeland Security? Is that what she was in charge of? MD and Venkat? I could have sworn she was.
DHS secretary.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not just any rinky-dink position you're in. You're in charge of the position where it was put in place to protect this nation or country when we had a terrorist group came in and infiltrated using, mechanical aircrafts that are flown every day on a daily basis, carrying about 1 million people. This is not a rinky-dink job, ma'am. You're literally taking care of the ports, the airports, the railways, everything else that deals with transportation, much alone the border, much alone everything else, including the airspace and everything else. You are in charge of a major department. It's not a joke. So when she goes on and do all these random nonsenses that make no sense, Trump has every right to fire her or reposition her, as we've come to know. But we expect better, and we especially hold you in a high regard as well, Noam, because you were a woman. And we always try to say, when women go in certain things, they're not going to do with certain things that men do and do. You didn't really do that much. And so it's disappointing to even see you fall from grace the way you do. But shooting puppies is one of your favorite things to do, ma'am. So I hope, that puppy is somewhere. All dogs go to heaven. I hope he's looking down at you when you fall to the precipice of hell, and I'll leave it at that.
Well, I'll say this, Ricardo. You said something that I disagree with. It is my business when you spending tens of billions of dollars on a jet, and then you having it retrofitted with my tax dollars, so a dude can mount you in the damn airplane. It is my business.
And bend you over and do the doggy style. I mean, there's a whole position to the doggy style position in a jet. But I applaud her. I've yet to join the Maha Club. I do agree with you. I mean, in some extent, yes. In some extent, no. I mean, do we need to know that President Trump is banging Melania in the Air Force One while Iran is being bombed, and we possibly could get hit someday with a trajectory of a missile in California? Yes, in some sense. Do I need to know the dirty details of what you're doing? No. I mean, we all know Melania is not banging him at all, period. So, I mean, that's a farce. And anyone want to argue with me, anyone, MAGA maniacs want to say, "Oh, but she's beautiful." She is not having sex with that man. Not for nothing. It's an opinion, and I stand by it. But I digress.
Yeah, she was Secret Service, bro. That's already been reported. Secret agent, man. That's who hitting Melania. That's just what it is.
She ain't sleeping with that old geezer. There's no way. But I digress. But yeah, you have a point. I'm at 50-50 on the line. Should we know, yes, what she's doing with taxpayer money? But do I need to know the dirty details? No. But what I'm more concerned with is the fact that she's not doing her job correctly. Remember, lest we forget when they did this whole what was that facility they had down here that they were trying to build, and then for the Supreme Court shut it down near the Everglades, that whole thing they were trying to build for these
alligator aquaculture.
Yeah, whatever you call it. She was also down here doing the whole the whole parading for it. And I'm like, but this is not going to go anywhere, because eventually people are going to be like, why are you building on sacred land? One, it's not promised. It's actually sacred land that belongs to the actual, Aboriginal people that were here, God knows for how long. But again, she was the champion of the cause, and then she was the same one that was going on when that poor guy. Well, I shouldn't say poor, but the guy that got sent to El Salvador, which I'm not even sure if he came back yet. That whole thing, and then she was saying there's a whole bunch of stuff she's done, and if we look back at her actual, what you call it? What's the word I'm looking for here?
Track record.
The track record, the portfolio,
It's bad.
it's literally terrible. If we go through the list, the guy that got deported, she's telling people to self-deport themselves for what? $1,000. Like, are you kidding me? If you want me to deport myself from this country, give me at least 10K to 20,000, maybe 50,000. I'll leave quickly, because that's money I could use towards building myself back in another country. But I digress. There's a whole bunch of stuff she's done that I've said didn't make sense to me. But it's the fact that the man, Agent Orange, that's at the top, signed off on most of them. Again, it says a lot about both.
He didn't. Again, what I tell you in the beginning, Taco, Trump always considers optics. The optics that Kristi Noem was putting out were very bad. That's just what it is, and it made the administration look bad.
So
she had to go.
So the one time she never answered the question, and then she answered the question, and
it's more than that. You just got finished talking about all the debacles that she done had over the course with little over a year. All the debacles, pretty much everything that was negative of the outlook of how we view, especially with this whole ICE situation. It falls under the buck stops with Kristi Noem. That's a fact.
That's a fact. But again, MD, the megamaniacs will tell you they beg to differ, sir. She was in part of just one part of the department.
Not according to the approval rating, not according to the polls that's coming out now, where megamaniacs say they disapprove of what ICE is doing, because it ain't the fact that they disapprove of what ICE doing, they disapprove of seeing it. That's a fact.
So when they shot everybody else, it wasn't a problem. But when they shot the one white lady in the car and she died, now it's a problem.
It's bad optics. Why you think Tom Homan is there? Venkat, you got anything else on this?
No, that's it.
Okay. The second course coming out for the duck. Second course, he ain't done. He's not fully satiated yet. He got one more heading up in a 2-course meal, I guess you would say. So let's get to the next one.
Joining me now, Special Forces veteran Joe Kent. Can you say anything that Biden accomplished over there besides symbolism?
No, Jesse, the only thing I think that he accomplished was confusing our allies and emboldening our enemies. Like you pointed out, he handed $100 million essentially to Hamas. At the same time, he says, hey, Israel, don't go too hard on these guys. Don't overreact and go after them after they murdered, nearly 2,000 of your citizens. Biden also refused to acknowledge the fact that there are likely American hostages being held right now by the very same people he just handed $100 million to. And also, he refused to address Iran. He refused to address Qatar. We're giving money to the Qataris. The Qataris are hosting the Hamas leadership, and Iran still has the money that Biden gave them. So really, again, our allies are completely and totally isolated, and our enemies are emboldened because of not just Biden's policies and actions, but also this horrible trip that he just took over there.
Maybe the $100 million to Hamas was just a down payment for the ransom. We have no idea what's actually going on. But what do you feel about these guys snubbing the president? I'm an American. I don't like it when leaders snub the president, but he's getting snubbed a lot. I believe the Mexican president snubbed him, or we had some summit in California. They snubbed. He gets snubbed all the time. Why don't they respect this guy?
Jesse, when we're weak at home, we become very weak abroad. And the first thing that Biden did was he opened up our border. How can you take a country seriously that has a wide open southern border and is allowing fentanyl to kill its citizens? The Democrats in the Congress, like my opponent, Joe Biden, they opened up the border. They're allowing our citizens to be killed. And then at the same time, we have this disastrous foreign policy, from the Afghan withdrawal to blundering through Ukraine, continuing to escalate the situation over there, killing off U.S. energy independence so that all the worst actors in the world are in control of the world economic market, weakening the dollar. There's really no reason for these leaders to take us seriously, as much as that pains me as an American to say, considering how much money we give to these Middle Eastern nations. We need to strengthen our borders, strengthen our nation, so that once again we're taken seriously on the world stage and get these Democrats out of power, because they're destroying our nation.
Are we ever going to have peace in the Middle East? I'm beginning to think when I'm dead, it's going to be just like it's always been. Rockets and riots, and it's never going to stop there, is it, Joe?
To a certain extent, it won't. But look, what President Trump did with the Abraham Accords, allowing the Israelis and the Gulf Arab states to come together to form a peace and an alliance against Iranian aggression, that was putting us on the right path. And then also not being afraid to use force, like taking out all of ISIS, taking out Qasem Soleimani when necessary, but avoiding these endless wars and always supporting our great allies like Israel. This is what must happen in order for us to have any degree of peace in the Middle East and stability back here at home.
All right. Joe, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. We wanted to share this breaking news here with you as top counterterrorism official Joe Kent has resigned. We're learning this within the past hour here. Joe Kent, the director of the National Counterterrorism Center, announced his resignation today, saying he cannot in good conscience back the Trump administration's war in Iran. Kent shared in a social media post saying Iran, quote, pose no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. There was no immediate comment from the White House. We do have his full statement here that I wanted to share with you, and I am going to ask my producer to get up on the screen. There it is. It says, President Trump, after much reflection, I've decided to resign from my position as director of the National Counterterrorism Center effective today. I cannot in good conscience support the ongoing war in Iran. Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation, and it is clear that we started this war due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. I support the values and the foreign policies that you campaigned on in 2016, 2020, 2024, which you enacted in your first term. Until June of 2025, you understood that the wars in the Middle East were a trap that robbed America of the precious lives of our patriots and depleted the wealth and prosperity of our nation. In your first administration, you understood better than any modern president how to decisively apply military power without getting us drawn into never-ending wars. He goes on to say, early in this administration, high-ranking Israeli officials and influential members of the American media deployed a misinformation campaign that wholly undermined your America First platform and sowed pro-war sentiments to encourage a war with Iran. This echo chamber was used to deceive you into believing that Iran posed an imminent threat to the United States, and that should you strike now, there was a clear path to swift victory. This was a lie and is the same tactic the Israelis used to draw us into the disastrous Iraq war that cost our nation the lives of thousands of our best men and women. We cannot make this mistake again. As a veteran who deployed to combat 11 times and as a Gold Star husband who lost my beloved wife Shannon, in a war manufactured by Israel, I cannot support sending the next generation off to fight and die in a war that serves no benefit to the American people nor justifies the cost of American lives. I pray that you will reflect upon what we are doing in Iran and who we are doing it for. The time for bold action is now. You can reverse course and chart a new path for our nation, or you can allow us to slip further toward decline and chaos. You hold the cards. It was an honor to serve in your administration and to serve our great nation. So that was that post there shared to social media. And I just also wanted to share with you here that Kent is a former political candidate, and he was confirmed to his post last July on a 52-44 vote. As head of the National Counterterrorism Center, he was in charge of an agency tasked with analyzing and detecting terrorist threats. Before entering President Trump's administration, Kent ran 2 unsuccessful campaigns for Congress in Washington state. He also served in the military, seeing 11 deployments as a Green Beret, followed by work at the CIA. So we wanted to bring that breaking news to you here on Live Now from Fox. Do you know whether Joe Kent was leaking?
Look, I'm not a fan of the guy. If you look at, and you never cover this, if you look at his truths or whatever he went on, if it's X or truth, if you look at his truths or his statements, he was all for everything. All of a sudden, he wasn't. He was a man that I met at Dover. He came and his wife was killed. He remarried fairly quickly. His wife was killed, and I felt badly for him. He ran for Congress. He lost. he ran for Congress again and he lost. I said, you know, he's a guy, nice guy, seemed like a very nice guy. I met him. He was pretty heartbroken, But I said, you know, it's a shame. He ran for Congress twice. Call him up, give him a job in the White House. Smart. They gave him a job in the White House, and this is what he does to me, you know? Being a nice guy doesn't pay off too much.
Mr. President.
Think of it. He loses twice in Congress, ran not very good campaigns, should have won, but he loses twice. How do I get him? I have my people call him, because I didn't deal with him for the most part. I saw him a couple of times, but I never dealt with him at all. I had no idea his ideology was left or right, whatever it is. I can say this. He said very strongly that Iran is not a threat. Iran's been a threat for 47 years, and there's not a country in the world that doesn't agree with me on that. So I take this guy, Joe Kent, who lost twice for Congress, pretty badly and tough, and was devastated, and I know that he lost his wife. So instead of letting him live out his life, I brilliantly have my people call him and offer him a job in security, essentially, in the White House. And what does he do? He goes out and he says that Iran is not a threat to get publicity. Now, he probably signed up with CNN or maybe signed up with your division of Newsmax, I don't know, but probably signed up with CNN or somebody. But if you look at his tweets, X's or Truths, whatever he uses, I don't know because I don't follow him. What he said is 100% he agrees with me. All of a sudden he leaves. I never knew he had a problem. Now, I hear they're looking at him for leaking. That's possible. But just so you understand, just to put it to rest, he lost twice badly. He also lost his wife. He's remarried since. He lost his wife. I felt badly for him. So I told my people, reach out to him, give him a job at the White House. This is the thanks I get. Any other questions?
He said Iran was not an imminent threat, that's what the intelligence showed.
I think it was an imminent threat. I think that Iran, if we didn't bomb them with the B-2 bombers, now that set them back, but if we didn't hit them with the B-2 bombers, they would have had a nuclear weapon within 2 weeks to a month. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it as soon as they got it.
The FBI is reportedly investigating the former director of the National Counterterrorism Center, Joe Kent. Kent was Trump's former pick to run counterterrorism operations in the U.S. Kent publicly resigned from his position in protest of the war with Iran. He said, Iran posed no imminent threat to our nation and claimed the war started due to pressure from Israel and its powerful American lobby. The New York Times and NBC News cited sources saying Kent was under investigation for leaking classified information. Sources said the investigation began before Kent's resignation.
Now you see, MD, that's a classic Trump breakup speech.
You see how he dogged him out. Dogged him out.
But he kept repeating the same bad thing that happened to him.
He lost twice.
His wife died. I felt bad.
His wife died, and then I felt sorry for him.
But now, remember earlier in the show, I talked about how with the messaging of Democrats, it's about just saying something over and over. And he did that in one speech. Usually, we're talking about multiple appearances. Trump took it upon himself to repeat himself multiple times in one little speech. Wow.
Now let me say this real quick. Some people might say, man, why are you making Joe Kent a lame duck? Like he's principled in what he couldn't in good conscience continue to be in the Trump administration after the strikes jointly with the United States and Israel. Well, I played the Jesse Waters clip first for a reason, because he contradicted himself. In said clip, that was 2024. Biden was still the president.
Yep.
He clearly said, even endless wars, all that cool. He clearly said in that video that Iran was a threat. As a matter of fact, he made emphasis saying that Iran was the threat in the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
Now all of a sudden they ain't no threat. Even so much so where Now you risk going to jail, leaking information to who, I don't know.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying? Now you're being threatened with imprisonment. That's just what it is. Now let's remember, his department is under Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard was his boss. Tulsi Gabbard is also a undercover communist.
Ooh.
And was saying that, you know, Russia was no threat and we shouldn't be involved with Ukraine, saying basically all the same shit Joe Kent was saying. Now, Joe Kent wasn't saying that in 2024. He's saying it now. And now he done hit all the shows. Ever since he got fired, he been on Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly and Alex Jones, all the kooks. he been running around. So simply what I'm telling you is that's the reason why the duck called on his name. Because he contradicted himself in 2024 to now.
Yeah, he's playing politics. He's playing politics hard, but he's not strategically smart at all with what he's saying. You got to be consistent. Yeah. But when you lie, it's hard to keep track of your lies. And eventually it's going to fall apart.
Yeah. All I know about the guy is that he lost an election twice, badly. And his wife died. And I felt sorry for him.
What does his wife have to do with anything that he... Yeah, with this damn man.
That's all I know about him.
Lord. But it goes to show, though, that even when, you know, when it comes to everything else that we know, it's fascinating to me that the man said he resigned out of protest, that he didn't think Iran did anything wrong. You think he would focus mostly on that? It's mostly that the wife died and I felt sorry for him, which has nothing to do with anything. It's just a whole line.
It's not funny, man.
So, I mean, Trump always focuses on the most, you know, nonsensical, vanity-feared foolishness that has nothing to do with anything. For all we know, the man might have moved on from the wife dying. I mean, he might have a mistress, he might have a side piece.
Yeah, he remarried. That's what Trump said.
Exactly my point. But what does that have to do with anything, Trump? Like, he always focuses on people's looks and people's this, on the penis size and the vagina being this way. Trump, that has nothing to do with anything, sir. The man resigned because he says that in his formal placing of being in the department, he didn't see no reason for Iran to be attacked. None. There's no intelligence that stated that Iran was going to do anything. But you said, no, I felt sorry for him because his wife died. And I just wanted to be the good guy for once. And I wanted to help him and swoop him under my wings and make him feel better. I'm going to bring him to that. No, Trump, this is just another distraction for me all over again.
You check out the part that Trump said, I don't follow him. I don't know what he was if he was on X or if he was on Truth, but I don't follow him. But he said all these things. But how do you know? How do you know he was posting these things if you weren't following him? Trump is crazy, man. This is crazy. It's so crazy.
Trump is like one of those people that you'll bring, like, you know, like you'll be like, you know, he's a pastor or something, be like, we're gonna bring you to the strip club, and then he put his hands over his eyes and be like, I was not looking at the booties, but sir, how did you end up knowing that she was shaking her ass and the G-string was yellow? Like, I don't like, he does these stupid things that make no sense, and I don't understand for the life of me why the MAGA crew never, they would never hold him accountable. It's like, oh, but he might have just went into the strip club to just like bring the Bible in there to say hello. Like, no, sir. Like, there's no amount of you convincing or saying anything otherwise that would make us go, Trump is a rational person. He just talks nonsense that makes no sense at all. It's crazy.
The man lost twice, man. And then his wife died.
Bad. No, he lost twice badly. It ain't just that he lost. He lost badly.
And then he told his people to call him because he didn't talk to him. He had his people talk to him, offered him a job, and then look what he did to me. It's always about Trump. Look what he did to me. Oh my God, Trump is such a damn narcissist. Oh,
and and Trump heard. He don't know where he heard it from, but Trump heard that he may be being investigated for leaking. And then remember that interview happened, and then the next day they said the FBI was
The
investigating.
next
Yeah.
day, he
The
did
irony
he
of
did
that.
a Mueller. He did
You just
did a
happen to
Mueller.
leak it and
He getting investigated. Like, oh my God.
to show you
So,
how
you know,
vindictive it is. He's a very revengeful person. Anybody who see that
Yes.
damn Agent Orange Taco, he is very vindictive. Always have and always will be.
Petty.
so there's that, man. Hey, lame duck number 11, Christy Nome. Lame duck number 12, Joe Kent. A double duck for the night. And hey, that's our show, folks. That is our show.
That is some
I thought-
legit ducks. That is some legit ducks, man. That's
So-
certified.
Hey, I appreciate everybody coming through tonight. Don't forget to hit that like button on y'all way out, man. Like, I've been doing some pretty good numbers. These I figured out something, man. When
Yep.
you do YouTube lives instead of like StreamYards, you get more traffic.
Yeah.
And I've been noticing that with the videos I've been doing. That hell, I just been babbling. To be honest with you, you know what I mean. But coming up with topics. But hey, TFP is the main show. TFP is where everybody need to be. So I think we done figured out a correct formula for the show. So I think we can be more consistent if we stick to this day and this time. It'll work out for everybody. So next week, if you or anybody that you know has suffered from TDS, reach out to Tate Fist Politics. Next week's show, Tate Fist Politics, episode 10. I'm sorry to inform you, you've been diagnosed with Trump derangement syndrome. We're going to break down the symptoms of TDS. We're going to reveal the history of the original strand of TDS, which is ODS, Obama derangement syndrome.
The original.
And we're gonna compare the two.
Yes, we shall.
And see if we can come up with a cure. That's gonna be our goal for next week.
Mm.
We're gonna see if we can come up with a cure of TDS, and maybe we can get all this said and done. But you can't come up with a cure until you collect a sample from the original strand, ODS. That's what we're gonna do next week. We're gonna collect samples, and we're gonna do some blood work.
Be sure good to get. Sure good to get some Black Sun in here.
Hey, if Black Sun is willing to join, hey, I put the invitation out. Matter of fact, that'll be my next live. I'll do an invite. Black Sun, we because you know Black Sun is a one of the leading researchers of the disease. He want to know why so many people got TDS. So I'm looking upon to him to be the lead on this medical research that we finna get ready to do next week. You know, so he's gonna be the leading doctor.
You know, that whole TDS thing never. It's like libtards when they came up with the libtard thing. When Republican is closer to retard than liberals are, like it never made sense to me. Them running with that because TDS sounds like a derangement syndrome. It sounds like the derangement, the syndrome of the derangement is coming from Trump and Trump people that think like Trump. It doesn't come off to me as something that is counter Trump, like somebody that's against Trump will have. You know, I never understood that. That's just so lame to me.
Well, we're gonna break it down next week, and you know, I'll just say this: I believe that people who diagnose TDS, basically what they're saying is, from a medical sense, what they're saying is your derangement comes from a hatred of Trump. You know what I'm saying? And you just come so superimposed or over infatuated with trying to discredit everything Trump does. I think
wouldn't that technically be Donald Trump himself? What he did with Rosie O'Donnell for decades? I mean, Trump is like the biggest hater on the internet.
Everyone deserves a second chance.
I'm just saying, it just seems like all those qualities are coming out of Trump himself.
Well, again, those qualities coming out of Trump himself because he is the original carrier of the disease. That's what I'm saying, trying to tell you.
He's the Adam. He's the Adam that started it.
Like I said, I think that was last week. When you look at the strand, look at the movie Planet of the Apes.
Yep.
When Caesar got the treatment or whatever, or the original virus, it was only Caesar. That was it.
Yep.
See, and then the virus in and of itself transmutated.
Yep.
And it was only for a select group of people, which were the primates, the apes.
Yep.
Everybody else that got the disease died off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. The original disease is Obama derangement syndrome. Yep. Trump became so infatuated with everything that Obama did that when the disease gestated within Trump's body, it formed a way of him acting as if he was Obama itself in the negative aspect.
Yep.
That's just a fact. And I'm gonna prove it next week because everything Trump is doing, Obama did.
Just Obama did it better.
Just in a negative way.
Yep.
Obama gave all that money to the Iranians in the Iran nuclear deal. Then you just see the report, and this me spoiling it a little bit. Then you just see the report of Trump lifting the Iran sanctions. How the hell you lift sanctions on a country that you currently in war with? How you do that?
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Obama derangement syndrome. That's what I'm telling you. Remember, repeal and replace Obamacare.
Yep.
Now we got Trump RX. Just a fact. Didn't we call Obama the deporter in chief?
Yep.
Now we got mass deportation, ICE. Same shit. Just like you said, Venkat, just poorly done by Trump.
Yep.
Because again, the virus won't allow him to perfect because of the ODS, the Obama derangement syndrome. Just a fact. But let me not give the game away. Next week, Tay Fitz Politics, episode 10. I'm sorry to inform you, you've been diagnosed with Trump derangement syndrome. And with that being said, hey, we good, man. Ricardo, you got any closing thoughts?
No, just that we need a conclusion to this foolishness that was started about almost 3 weeks ago, going into Iran to bomb them for looking for uranium or whatever it was that he came to come up with. I'm just gonna leave this for everybody else that's listening, so that we can go and come back in next week. Let's just hope these people are not sending troops to go on the ground in Iran. It's not a good idea. I've been saying this from day one. I'm going to say it again. If you think you're going to bring combat to Iran on the ground there, it is a recipe for disaster. There's a number of reasons why you can't. But if you think this is Iraq, if you think this is Afghanistan, by all means, go ahead. You are about to learn something that history has taught us not to do. So again, mega crowd, send me the justification of why this is a necessary thing, why your cult leader is telling you that this is smart, and convince me, because it's not convincing the rest of the world otherwise. And I'll leave it at that.
I'm glad you said that, Ricardo. Did you not see my post that I did earlier today? And this goes to, let me see if can you see my screen?
Yeah, we see your screen.
Yeah, we can see you, and we can see your screen.
So I made a post today. I don't know if it's coming. It says sharing, but I don't see it in StreamYard for whatever reason. I made a post today. Nancy Mace made a tweet today. This was today now.
Yeah.
It says, just walked out of the House Armed Services briefing on Iran. Let me repeat. This is her words. I will not support troops on the ground in Iran. Even more so, now this is the damnable part.
Yep.
Even more so after this briefing. They just got briefed on what's about to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you that now. 3 days and count. I made a live saying 5 days. That was Monday. I think it's about to get bad, folks. I hope I'm wrong.
I hope we're all wrong. I really do.
I hope I'm wrong.
Because if you want to see troops going off in numbers like worse than Vietnam, I think they need to prepare themselves for that. It's not going to be a good perception or image.
I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that bad. But one troop is enough.
It's enough. But I'm just saying they better know what they're doing because everybody's warned them about this, and I think intelligence-wise they're not listening.
Did we just have Afghanistan for 20 years?
Yep. We don't do well. This
it's very
country never
possible.
does well when it comes to going into other people's country. It never does.
Yep.
This country does not do well. So I hope they know what they're doing because
they lost against Vietnam.
Iran is in this for the long run, and they put out their own propaganda videos today stating otherwise. So let's hope we know what we're doing.
Oh, there you go, right there. There you go. That I ain't do the thing, but yeah, she just tweeted that out today, folks. So, like I was saying last week, all those briefings that Senator Blumenthal and all the Gang of Eight, all these people were getting, they knew what the fuck was about to happen before it happened. They technically they have to tell Congress. They got to tell them. So, hey man, all I'm saying is, I hope I'm wrong. That's all I'm saying. Vancat, you got anything before we get up out of here?
Just great show as usual. My goodness. The double duck, 2 birds with 1 stone. Awesome. And all the topics. I like the rapid fire segments where we get in some quick hits on some stuff that's going on. I think that's great. But yeah, that's a great show. And I fear that what you're saying is real and it's going to be bad, man. I don't see anything good coming. I don't see anything good at all.
Yeah. You thought gas prices was bad last week. If they put troops on the ground, disaster, man. Disaster, bro. Disaster. Yeah. But remember, always remember this before you go to bed. If Trump was to lie to you and the Democrats were to tell you what they're going to do, I would vote for Trump again. Just remember those words.
And don't forget, Trump is low prices, Kamala high prices.
But you better know it. You better know it, man. You had better know it. With that being said, hey man, Ricardo, peace to y'all. Vancat, everybody in the chat, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more Take This Politics. With that, I say peace.
Peace.
Wah, wah, wah.